Alrighty, gang. Welcome to election night 2022 here in the Mill City of Lowell, Massachusetts, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and of course, this great land of ours, the United States of America. Welcome to Inside Lowell, our first ever live election night broadcast, our first ever election night broadcast of any kind, coming to you here from the Inside Lowell studios at 100 Merrimack Street. I am your host for this evening, Teddy Panos, and I am excited to welcome you here to our election night coverage. Polls close little less than an hour from now at 8 p.m., at which point we hope to start bringing you results of the local races that matter to you, specifically the 16th Middlesex District race for state representative, the two candidates vying to replace now Lowell City Manager, formerly longtime state rep Tom Golden, Rodney Elliott, the Democrat, Carla Miller, the Republican. We should be able to get the results for you tonight before we're done with our broadcast somewhere around 10 p.m. And with any luck, we think we've added the technology tonight. We'll also be able to get a phone call from the candidates who are in that race. We've also added a few more bells and whistles for you tonight, including, I think, what number is this, Joe? Number 5? We have our whiteboard camera where we will use the Tim Russert of Inside Lowell, Ace of Studs, to go out there and bring you some important key points out there. Or if nothing else, he's going to doodle onto the board. Speaking of Ace of Studs, it is now time to welcome him here to our studios. Ace of Studs. On the left of your TV screen, his brother Hans Stutz. To the right of the screen of your TV/computer screen.
Good evening, Eddie.
Good evening,
Teddy.
Stutz boys. How are you, Eddie?
What a start!
Well, I wanted to crack on Acer about the whiteboard. I mean, contain him.
We'll get some use out of that whiteboard. It'll have nothing to do with the election, though.
He's been staring at that whiteboard like a dog looking at a bone, like his tongue hanging out. He can't wait.
I have to tell you, the Pod Squad has been salivating, dreaming of this night here, the night that we can use this whiteboard.
Oh, really? So we get first dibs on it? Jack Mitchell been eyeing it?
Jack Mitchell, Michaela, Batch, they've been dreaming of the things they could do with this thing.
Jack Mitchell just death to Han like 50 times around the board. What a team here.
Welcome, guys. Good to have you here tonight. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
You ready to do 3 hours of podcasting with no commercial interruption?
Yeah, why not?
Maybe when it's time to do a bathroom break, we're either going to switch off or we're going to take you to this show. Right?
Oh, I like that. That's good.
You like that?
Do you have background like elevator music?
We have the elevator music.
Let's hear it.
You liking that?
Beautiful.
What we need to do for the future, Joe Murray, our technical director here at Inside Lowell, will just create a little screen that says resuming soon or podcast resumes soon.
You're getting there.
Put that
great
on
operations you've got here.
Put that on the to-do.
All right, I've never sat in this chair, so I'm looking at that camera right there.
Yeah. This
Probably get this out of the way early, right?
This is your camera, right?
Well, that's me. Oh,
or you can just talk to me and look natural.
Well, no, when you started the show, I'm like, why is Teddy? It's kind of drifting away. Yeah, no, you're a professional.
TV 101.
I gotta learn this stuff.
How are you?
I say, we're over here. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the audience.
Yeah, right. That's not
now
learning.
I can look at you guys.
You know, you would think he'd know this because he was sitting in that chair last night and he was staring at
No,
the open,
very.
as he was directed to.
Anyone that watched that show, which I thought was pretty good, I am super fidgety and weird with the camera. It's not good. So just prepare yourself tonight.
All right. Pull your microphone a little bit tighter as well there, my friend. See, Han is nice and tight. Han is the broadcast professional at this point. But all right, so it's election night, 2022. Any drama? Can we expect any surprises tonight, or are we basically going to regurgitate the inevitable, the obvious for our audience out there, and with any luck, have a few candidate interviews?
Say what we have here, which is good, is that we've got. If you turn on Fox News, you'll get the national stuff. If you turn on maybe NECN, or probably they're usually the best for the state stuff. Local, you don't have anywhere. We've got all three, so we got a good, like a news aggregator sort of. If you want to get all the information, it's going to come at you from a bunch of different angles, but we got you covered.
A little bit of everything.
A A little bit of everything. That's what we'll have here at Inside Lowell. I mentioned the race that we'll be looking at. We're also going to try to get some early results on the ballot questions. Will we have any drama there? Any surprises? Or will this predominantly Democratic / liberal leaning state do what is expected, and we'll have yes results across the board on questions 1 through 4?
Yeah, I think Mass is gonna buck the national trend, and just Mass is gonna be Mass. And question 1, I don't get it confused. If you vote yes, you're in favor of the tax. Question 4, if you vote yes, you're in favor of the undocumented immigrants keeping their license, essentially. So I think
keeping or getting, they have they been getting them already?
No, sorry. Let me rephrase that.
A ton of confusion.
Good
This,
question.
right?
Yeah, I thought they already were too.
I'm not certain. I just know if you vote
official?
yes, if you were a liberal in favor of that, you would vote yes. So those are the 2 big ones for the questions. You'd think with a red wave that you keep hearing about, and it's going to be, Republicans are going to dominate tonight. I just don't think Massachusetts is there. Just doesn't seem like it. So if ever this was a great night for Republicans, it's tonight. But is Jeff Deal going to win? I don't think so. Do you?
I'd be shocked. I did one interesting little thing as you've kind of, you talk about the national races, Real Clear Politics, they do their average there. And what we saw the last week or two, there was a shift across the country towards the Republicans, undecideds, independents breaking towards Republicans, at least according to the pollsters. Tonight, we'll find out if that's real or not. But there was one interesting thing in talking to a Republican operative from the area. They told me that the plan was kind of to start at the center and drive to the coasts. And they're optimistic that tonight the New York governor's mansion will switch.
That's definitely up for grabs. That's more up for grabs. Yeah.
Kathy Hochul, was it Hochul?
Yes.
Who
Lee Zeldin?
Midterm for Andrew Cuomo, they thought that she was in a dead heat against Lee Zeldin, and the Republicans are very giddy about their prospects of winning that. We saw some heavy hitters from the National Democratic Party making their way to New York. Now, why that brings us back here to Massachusetts is the Real Clear Politics polling average moved one race. Now, they didn't move it into the Republican column. They didn't even move it into the toss-up column. They moved it from the safe Democrat to likely Democratic column, but that was Mass 9, Congressional District number 9, which to my understanding is the Congressman Keating district, which is the western part of the state. So that Republican strategy of driving kind of towards the coasts, if it stops in Western Mass and they're, the best they can do is make it interesting for the first part of the evening. Instead of getting a call at, somebody projecting the race at 8:01 a.m., maybe they projected at 8:35 or 8:45.
That's a victory for Republicans in Mass. Really. Then you took your entire strategy. You've got the entire national mood all in favor of Republicans, and you took one congressional district and it went from the dark blue map to a light blue map, essentially, right? Woo! Good job.
Teddy, what are your thoughts on question 1? I'm curious what you think about it.
In terms of how I'm voting, or what do I think is going to happen?
What do you think the result will be?
Before he answers that, I'm going to say, give this company a couple more months and he'll have a different answer possibly.
Let me get into a situation where I might be affected by that millionaire's tax, and then we can talk. Look, I think it's bad for the state. I pointed this out on the Inside View podcast we recorded last week. We've seen it. We've seen it happen. We saw it in Connecticut. Massive wealth leaving the state of Connecticut to the tune of $1.2 billion in 2018. I know some folks want to say it was COVID. No. Connecticut is the example. Connecticut did it well ahead of time. New York was heading down that path, and then Governor Cuomo slowed it down, basically begged millionaires to come back. Now, this was in the COVID times, but also the aforementioned Governor Hochul said, I am not in favor of this. This will drive wealth out of our state. So here comes Massachusetts, trying to tell you, oh, no, that's just scare tactics on the part of rich folks who are trying to avoid paying their fair share of taxes. But they're never going to get anywhere near the revenue they anticipate. and they will actually cost themselves revenue if/when they pass this, which I firmly expect to happen tonight. I do believe that question 1 will pass, probably closer than your typical 65-35 or above Democratic victory. But Massachusetts has surprised in the past on tax issues, and I'm hoping that, maybe, just maybe, we get a little surprise tonight.
A safe guess is that it passes 55-45. Does that seem about right to you? You wouldn't be shocked by that, right?
I wouldn't be shocked about that.
It's
counted as a moral victory.
Yeah, I mean, it's 10 points, but it's sort of in play if things get really wild, and the potential is there for a really wild night.
Well, I'm going to take no. That's going to be my underdog special of the night.
Oh, really?
I think it's going to go down. I actually talked to a bunch of liberal people today who were voting no, and they thought that the long-term effects of the tax would drive people away, and they also were very I don't know. Let's say they had a lot of feelings towards people who would have to sell their small business that their family built up and sunk their whole lives into, and then they're going to get hit with that windfall tax that 1 year where they sell the business, or same thing with a farm, I guess, would be a similar type of situation. So they didn't like those people getting whacked unfairly.
They also may be a little bit nervous in some of the more affluent liberal communities that if they decide to sell their house and get the hell out of here, they suddenly qualify for that millionaire's tax. Yeah. And I mean, how many times can you're taxed on your income? Yeah. You throw a millionaire's tax in there. You're taxed when you sell something. You're taxed when you die, and right. Yeah. Like, how many times can you tax the same dollar? It looks like Massachusetts is willing to push the limits.
How do they justify it? Think of. I mean, it's called Taxachusetts.
We got overjuiced by $3 billion, right?
Right. They're way over. Yeah, right. They've taxed too much. They've got extra COVID money, and you're going to look into all of that and the size of the government and say, a little more here. Well, taste.
We've actually, in fairness, we've moved away from that label, which Massachusetts was given, Taxachusetts, under then Governor Dukakis. We actually are in the middle of the road. Across the country,
some of the other states,
we talk, New York, California, Illinois have all lost their minds, and Massachusetts, and you got to kind of give a little credit to some of the governors who've been in there.
You got a lot of Republican governors. Plus, Romney, Wells. Was Cellucci a Republican? I thought he was.
He was. So the only Democrat over the last 32 years was Deval Patrick.
Yeah, so you do have. It's not much of a check and balance, but it's something. That something will be gone in a couple hours, but you did have something.
Right. Do we want to go back to those days of Taxachusetts? This will start to move us there. And you pointed something out. We've got a $3 billion surplus. Why do we need new taxes? Let's figure out how to use some of that. Now, I know, God forbid they give some of it back to the taxpayers, but they're already taxing you more than they need money. And Lord knows, it's not like we're scrimping on spending here in Massachusetts.
The population isn't like outraged either, though, is there? I mean, there's people, you'll talk to them, that are annoyed by it and all that, but there's never the entire population should be mad, shouldn't they? Like, hey, give us back our money. What are you doing?
My other objection to question 1 is the money's, it's sold as all this money's going to go towards education and all this good stuff, and
right up your alley. You're a teacher. For those who don't know, Hans Stutz is a teacher in the Lowell public school system. You should be all in favor of this. It's coming right to your door.
Yes, in theory, right? But when you peel back the layers, or you look behind the curtain and say, well, this money could all just go to the general fund, and then it's just more money to play with to get spent on probably a lot of things that I probably wouldn't support. So will some of that money go to education? Absolutely. I'm sure it will. I mean, I don't see how you could just blatantly take it all and spend it on something else. But it's kind of like the infrastructure bill. We're going to spend $1 trillion on infrastructure, and only 5% will be infrastructure.
Pretty much.
I don't like the other 95% getting spent.
I forget the quotes back then. Remember, just humans are infrastructure. It was like
we're gonna make the highways.
Everything is housing is infrastructure. Healthcare,
air is infrastructure.
Yeah. Pork is infrastructure.
Again, we're going to make the highways less racist.
Is infrastructure.
Literally,
homelessness is infrastructure.
So question 1 is one of the things we'll be watching tonight. The other one that I think might be interesting, I think the closest of the ballot initiatives will be question 4, the driver's licenses for illegal immigrants. There was
That's an interesting
the push to get that on the ballot, I think, energized some folks on the right in Massachusetts. I think it engaged certain people.
Yeah.
And, I'll be curious to see how members of the Hispanic community vote on that as well, because I don't think the proponents of that measure got as much support as they would have liked from certain groups. I know there's been a little like, hey, what gives with they call it the Latinx.
Oh, no. Who says that? The only person still says that is Charlie Baker.
Woke white people say that.
Yeah, Charlie Baker. Charlie Baker loves saying Latinx. He's the only one. Everyone else is giving it up. He's
Only
just hanging in there.
clowns say Latinx. I mean, let's be real, right? Like if you ask somebody, right, who's of Hispanic heritage, what do you want to be? None of them say Latinx. No one. It's just I'm either Latino or Latina.
There should be. The New York Times is just, hey, great news. Hispanic community got a whole new name for you. Like, thanks. We appreciate that.
Yeah, society doesn't have to get rid of the masculine and the feminine just because one small group of crazy people think it should. It's nuts.
So we'll talk a little bit more about all those ballot questions as we start seeing results coming in as well. We mentioned we're going to take a close look at the Rodney Elliott, Carla Miller race for 16th Middlesex State Rep. We'll peek in and see, how close can Jeff Deal make it against Maura Healey in the governor's race. I don't anticipate very, but we'll find out. If any of the statewide offices are going to be close, it's supposed to be the auditor's race between my good friend Diana DeZoglio and Anthony Amori. I got a text the other day, and a few other people did. Did you guys get that text attacking DeZoglio for being belonging to a congregational church in Alabama that
Really?
Say more. Protested or spoke against abortion? And I'm laughing because it's like Republicans criticizing Diana DeZoglio for having Republican positions. Like, wait a minute, are you trying to hurt her?
Yeah,
or help her here.
2 weeks ago, didn't they
doing?
say like something with Trump? The Republican blamed her or accused her of agreeing with something that Trump said. I'm like, wait, this is the Republican? I'm getting confused here. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's a pretty moderate guy, her opponent.
Anthony Amori, yes, he is.
When it crosses over like this, it gets a little bit strange. It's hard to keep track.
But some of these groups that are coming in and pouring money, they see that as a potential win for the Republican Party in Massachusetts. I mean, they'd have a ticker tape parade down Jim Lyons' cul-de-sac if they ever were able to steal a seat this time around without Charlie Baker at the top of the ticket.
Strange. I mean, you'd think you'd go in the other direction to try to hurt her. She's an extreme liberal. She's this and that. Like, you're kind of opening the door to more moderate right-leaning people to say, yeah, man, I kind of like what you just said right there. I'll vote for her.
There you go.
It's strange.
Yeah, certainly is. Hey, got our first text of the evening, by the way.
Whoa.
And while we don't have an official Inside Lowell text line, that is coming.
Wait. There is going to be a name? Will it have to do with...
You may know the name. He is
Excellent.
a multi-time.
Oh, it's an individual.
Chappie Award winner.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm at the actual text line.
Oh, the text line.
Is that up for grabs?
Yeah, well,
that could be sponsored.
We're speaking with sponsors, as we speak right now. Their sponsors are mulling all sorts of.
Is it hard for you to not say the old name? It's just in your brain.
I know. I mean, I can give my buddy Freddie Webster over there at Milltown Plumbing a little love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure, why not? He'll be aboard the. He'll be on the inside track soon enough.
Excellent.
Don't you worry. But our friend Guillermo Pena wants to know if Ace is going to draw Ukrainian tanks and dead Russian soldiers on the whiteboard.
I definitely would have last night had we had this camera available. If that was there. I would have.
Why don't you go on over so people can see? Because right now they're seeing like a giant white screen with a little line. But
I didn't sign up for this.
You're gonna do like your Tim Russert. So
no.
Now remember what side you have to move.
Wait a minute, Teddy.
Oh, let me turn up his
stand.
You know what we need him to draw? A HIMAR, or maybe it'll look like Jeff Bezos' rocket ship.
You want what do you want? You want the Kyrgyzstan battle lines right there?
Give us a little taste here of what we can do with a whiteboard.
Draw a quick map of Ukraine.
What do you want? Election stuff?
The viewers need a point of reference of what you're talking about.
Here we go.
He's studied this, Asa has studied this Ukrainian map more than Vladimir Zelensky.
Oh, I know.
Because Zelensky's too busy making Netflix documentaries.
You know, he could parachute in right now. Just
This is just a
navigate his way through
demonstration, right?
Ukraine.
This has nothing to do with the election. All right, hold on. All right.
Could you do this in a blue and gold marker, please?
Hold on.
There are different colored markers I bought specifically for this, by the way, Asa.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
This is southern Ukraine.
Okay.
This is Kherson, where the Russian army is trapped. This is the Ukrainian army. These are the bridges out over the river. They've all been destroyed. This is Odessa, and this is Crimea. So once Ukrainians take them out of Kherson, they will push them into Crimea, flank them right to Zaporizhia, where the big nuclear power plant is, take that back, biggest power plant in Europe, and the Russians are done. Okay? Does that work? Can you hear the audio?
All right, now erase that so we can put some real election stuff on there. In the meantime, I'll bring you back with.
If I was a betting man in the Ukraine, I'd take Zelensky for re-election. You know,
Yeah, I think
things are looking good for Zelensky.
Was he always like this as a kid, by the way?
A little hyper when he was younger. Yeah.
Was he? All right, that explains
He
it.
flipped the switch at some point.
While Asa erases his whiteboard there and prepares it for what we're really going to use it, I'm going to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors of tonight's Inside Lowell live election night broadcast. One of them just joined us today, Christopher's Towing of Chelmsford. Yeah, we've gone outside of Lowell to get some sponsors. Of course, smart businesses know that when you have a population of, call it 120,000 people, give or take a few thousand, you advertise your message where the people are. So Inside Lowell is where you want to advertise. Welcome aboard to Christopher's Towing. And yesterday we were able to confirm the Stones Hospitality Group as well as a sponsor. We haven't gotten their logo yet, so you won't see it up there on the screen next to me or down on these money shots, but soon enough, Cobblestones and Moonstones and Stone Social up in Nashua will be getting their logo shared. So we welcome Christopher's Towing and Stone's Hospitality Group. And of course, our founding sponsors, thank you to all of them for making Inside Lowell possible, making tonight's broadcast possible. Spectacle Live, the Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce, IBEW 2321. Our good friend Lee Gitcher, and our good friend Real Estate Ray Booton, also a sponsor of Inside Lowell in tonight's broadcast. Michael Colley over there at Lowell Lock and Key. You need something done in emergency, in a pinch, 24 hours, Lowell Lock and Key. Michael Colley is the man. Thank you as well to Stellar Web Studios, my friend Brian Bahia over there, who put together the Inside Lowell website that gives you all these fun little components, including the podcast. The Mill City Festival Fund, which will be partnering to bring you the City of Lights Parade on November 26th in downtown Lowell. Phil Tebow, architect from Drake at Unitas, and of course the Merrimack Valley Wi-Fi Pros. Thank you to all of you for being a part of it, and we'll make sure to get your names out there repeatedly throughout tonight. Their logos, as I mentioned, down there on the screen as well. Check it on out. And if you want to become one of those sponsors, you can shoot me an email, teddypanos@insidelowell.com, or send it to sales@insidelowell.com. Back to Asa, back to Han now that Asa is situated. Did you,
good? Well,
did you have fun at the board?
I did there. I'm not sure about poll results and numbers, but I'll give you whatever you want. I'm here, all right?
All right, so just
I'll dance for you.
We are now flying solo. Our technical director, Joe Malone.
Oh, he left?
He got us up and running. We're live. He says the broadcast looks great on our website and on our YouTube channel, Inside Lowell at YouTube. And so he's going home for the night. So we better pray this doesn't crash or we're absolutely screwed.
So this is obviously going out live, but will it be a recording? Like, wake up tomorrow, we can rewatch this, or no?
Yeah, we save all our podcasts on our YouTube
you'll
channel.
Post this whatever tomorrow.
So it'll probably take a while to upload onto YouTube, and I don't think I'm going to stay here all night to do
Okay,
it. But tomorrow we'll get up there, and then we're here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. You and I are going live again.
Hot streak here, 3 days in a
stuff.
row.
Do you even sleep, Asa?
Well, that's what I do. I show up and then I don't show up for like 5 months, and then 3 days in a row, and that's what I do.
We will recap the results of the election. We'll also take a peek at that Lowell City Council meeting. There is a Lowell City Council meeting tonight. Nothing dramatic on the agenda, but in executive session, A lot going on. And my little inside moles at City Hall tell me a little eminent domain discussion
Oh,
could
really?
take place tonight.
Eminent domain.
Eminent domain regarding
Something I should know about.
well, Lowell High School.
Oh,
The price.
Don't get hot.
Yeah, the price. Yeah, remember how?
Don't get you started.
Well, remember how I told you that the polls were moving in the last couple of weeks towards the Republican side of control of Congress and the Senate?
Yes.
The money polls are moving a little bit more towards the doctor's side. In the discussion of how much eminent domain is going to cost the city of Lowell. Let's just say that $2 to $3 million that we were told back in 2017 is but a mere fantasy.
Nobody believed that. But then
The attorney said around 12.
yeah, I think 12 was in the.
Attorney Peter Flynn was saying 10 to 12. I figured 7, 8 is the number, but
I felt like Flynn had himself a case there. I thought,
Just a little.
I thought he was going to drive for 12 and probably get it.
just a little bit of a case. Speaking of our broadcast tomorrow, Asa, will we know who's going to control the United States Senate when we're on the air at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning?
I'm going to say yes, but I mentioned this last night. I've been rolling with the chaos theory for the last couple of years. You look at any situation that could happen and just think of what the craziest result is, and that's kind of what's been happening. And there's so many different scenarios that could go wild in this Senate race just because it's so close. I mean, Republicans could have a great night. They're only going to have 52 Senate seats, and they have to get to 51. So I suspect that Georgia, the polls are all saying Walker's get up by 3 or 4 points, which would eliminate the runoff. But if it's razor thin and it's 49-49 with 1% going to the Libertarian Green Party guy, then you get a runoff there. And let's just say that decides it. To me, that is, it's not chaos in a typical Trump way, but it's election chaos just because the entire, control of the Senate will come down to 4 weeks in Georgia. And one of the people is Herschel Walker, who is just a horrible candidate. I mean, I can't believe he made it this far to have him say, okay, everything we just did, crank it up to 10 and do it for 4 more weeks. It wouldn't go well.
Teddy, what do you think the bookmakers had Herschel Walker at this morning?
I would think he was a heavy favorite.
He's a minus 165 on the money line.
That's
Not a heavy favorite, though.
No,
That's a pretty
tight.
heavy favorite, I would say.
In terms of, you always
Not heavy.
follow the money.
No, because
I
that
bet
means-
Oz at minus 220, which was a horrible bet. We talked about that.
That means Warnock would be plus like 125, 130.
Yeah,
That's not a huge underdog.
Yeah.
But I think Georgia, we may know the results of tonight. Pennsylvania, there's no way we get the results. That they're already,
set
there's
that
already
up.
lawsuits.
Maybe by Friday?
coming. That's been set up. I don't think it's going to matter. I've been looking at some of the maps, and it looks like Arizona is going to fall. The Senator Kelly seat is going to fall to Masters. And I also
hope you're right.
They've also
You've been on
stopped.
that one. Well,
They've also stopped really kind of focusing on Nevada. Laxalt looks poised to take that seat.
that's still close.
The one that I'm really going to watch tonight, again, remember that whole they're going to drive to the coast theory that the Republicans are hoping comes true?
General Tecumseh Sherman, right?
What's
The Sherman, the Sherman model.
Donnie B?
What's going to happen in your state? Asa Stutz. Maggie Hassan is in a
That's a real close one.
battle. That's flip a coin. St. Anselm poll last week had Bolduc up. UNH had Hassan up. Both, I think, had him up by 2. I think there was one that had Bolduc up a little bit more. But there was also one that had Hassan up by 6. So they're fluctuating wildly. To me, that New Hampshire Senate race is a bellwether for tonight.
Oh, yeah. No,
across the
Hassan
country.
loses. The Republicans are getting 53 or 54. Like
I would say
they
the
have to
line
hold
at
that.
53, I would say, is the line.
No, I mean, she is a little bit further down that line as far as, I don't know if it's,
But
I don't know
I
if
would
it's
handicap it at 53.
So
what I would
the
make the line.
real clear politics right now has it at 53.
53.
They've given Nevada.
I think they've given Hassan to
the
New Hampshire.
Republicans. They've given Georgia. They've given Hassan
Because the last
New
2
Hampshire.
polls through their aggregate, the way they do it, had Hassan up 2. So it's really close, obviously, within the margin of error, but I think they picked 53 without Hassan. So if Hassan falls, you're at 54. You got the red wave. And then the whole trickle down effect. New Hampshire's fairly Republican on the state level, the state house and the state Senate. And again, it's like I forget the number, 15, 17, their Senate. It's not going to shift too much because it's dominated by Republicans. But the other race is that congressional race out of Manchester. New Hampshire won. You get Caroline Leavitt. She's caught fire. And Chris Pappas is just not a good candidate. He seems like a nice guy. He'd be great if he's your neighbor, but he just doesn't have it. And she's on fire. So she's going to be a star. Like if she wins,
25.
I'm going to hate her because
the Republicans.
She'll be the youngest member of Congress. And she's
25. Yep.
She's a very attractive 25-year-old girl that is passionate and fired up. She's a hardcore Trumper. She drifted off to stop the steal, but she was part of that.
She did run and hide
as soon as she was
able to win the primary, even though the other Republicans in the race went after her hard. They dug up old Snapchat videos.
Oh yeah, they did actually
of her in an effort to.
I kind of liked her a little more with those videos. I'm like, guess what? She looks like a 16-year-old kid. I forget exactly.
I thought Snapchat videos went away.
Yeah, right. That's the whole point of Snapchat.
Like you watch this video for 8 seconds and it vanishes.
But just get ready. If she wins and she beats Chris Pappas, she goes to D.C., she becomes a national star immediately. She is kind of like
Katie Hill?
No.
Republican
She's more Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she seems smarter. She seems smarter and a bit more rational, but she has that in her. And it's not that she's afraid to fight. She goes looking for it. You know, that's where you kind of lose me, but that's just red meat to the MAGA crowd, to the conservatives, to the people that want to fight and push back, and they're sick of Lindsey Graham's and Mitch McConnell's that, you know, I know they're senators, but they want fighters. She's going to be a star if she wins. So look out for her.
It's 7. My clock says 7:32. Now the little trick here, little secret I'll let you folks in on our. The YouTube has actually a 60-second delay. So you're watching us on 60-second delay. So when I say this right now, it's probably going to be 7:33 or maybe even 7:34 on your phone. Just so you know, I'm not blind. Well, actually, I'm going there. But I do know how to tell time. But there is that little 60-second delay here through the wonders of technology. But we've got a half hour down. 2.5 hours to go. Boy, am I longing for the days of TV commercials.
Yeah, Dennis Candy, if you want to call in anytime, feel free.
You've got Candy's dropping in. Bring some coffee.
I'd love to talk about the 86 Celtics in about a half hour, if you don't mind.
So let's come back here to a little closer to home. And we talked about the national races, the ones that we're going to be watching. And by the way, polls have closed in a number of states.
Yeah, I was just going to look. What's the deal here? I know we're on camera. Can I just look at the results?
I've been looking at my laptop. I've been looking at my phone here.
We won't give it away, but we've got the secret weapon here where those results come in real quick. They're way ahead of the TV. So we're onto something here.
So whether this is a Republican pickup of 20 to 25 seats or closer to 30, maybe more congressionally, we might get some early signs. Again, that one in New Hampshire will be one that we discuss. But I know Kentucky always closes their polls at 7. Certain parts of Florida
Indiana
do as well. Indiana. Are there any, if you can find any races there that might show us what's in store for the rest of the night, I'd be very happy to see those. By the way, Professor Scott Latham, Dr. Scott Latham from UMass Lowell, one of our insiders, I just saw a tweet from him, says, every election now, I miss Tim Russert, working class Buffalo Democrat.
Me too. He's the best.
But Dr. Latham, if you are watching, that's why we have the Whiteboard.
I did not sign up for this. All right, so North Carolina, Ohio, West Virginia, polls are closed. 7:30.
So Ohio, a Senate race there. One that many folks thought might be close. An unabashed Trumper in Vance running against
J.D. Vance. That 2 weeks ago, but there was this 2-week surge. 2 weeks ago, that was a close race. It was a little bit closer.
Don't buy it. Ohio and Florida
10 points.
are gone for the Democrats.
Oh, Florida.
The Democratic, if you look at those two Trump elections, the margins got bigger in 2020 than they were in 2016. Those states are gone right now for the Democratic Party as they've moved so far left that they've lost two very key electoral states for them. It's going to be, 2024 is going to be very difficult for them, especially if they can't hold on to the Michigans and the Pennsylvanias and whatnot. But yeah, Tim Russert was great. Loved Tim Russert and his whiteboard. He made it famous on election night in 2000 with Florida.
I think that's in the Smithsonian now.
Can you write Florida, by the way, on the board just once tonight before we're done? Just once.
Yes.
Or at least, maybe Pawtucketville, or Chelmsford.
I misspelled Centerville earlier, so I'm not sure.
Central.
Yes, exactly. I misspelled it.
So, Centerville, Pawtucketville, Chelmsford. Rodney
Which
Elliott,
part of Chelmsford?
Carla Miller. My part. The Westlands, North Chelmsford, Nocho.
Does it have a neighborhood?
Batches part.
If Marty Laurie was in Chelmsford, what would he call it?
Chelmsford.
The wetlands, the badlands. No one knows
Chelmsford
neighborhoods like
has
Marty.
the Westlands. They have North Chelmsford, which is Vinyl Square. But Chelmsford doesn't have great nicknames for its neighborhoods like Lowell does. It's one thing I feel is lacking. But maybe that's my mission, to bring that to my new town.
Okay. What do you want to call your? Are you in?
I'm in the Westlands. I actually voted on my ballot today, which, by the way, was only 2 pages in Chelmsford.
Really?
Because we didn't have that whole our vocational.
1 page up in New Hampshire, Nashua.
Yeah, in Lowell, parts of Lowell, you had 3 pages.
What did you think about those turnout numbers I sent you? I didn't think they were crazy high.
They're not crazy high. I mean, I guess Pawtucketville is high from what we're being told, even if you factor in that it was 3 pages that were being scanned.
Yeah, anyone watching? This is just Pawtucket Memorial at 510. They have 2 different precincts. 1-3 had 2,182 votes. And again, you're dividing by 3 with these numbers. And 1-4 had 1,626. So that's Pawtucketville. I went over to Robinson and Centerville at 530. 2-3 had about 2,000 votes exactly.
Is that 2,000 divided by?
Yes, then you're dividing.
Okay, so divide by.
So it was 1997, but
okay. So they were, call it 650 votes.
And 2-4 had 1,625.
That's. I would imagine that's higher than the rest of Lowell, because they have the only competitive race in terms of state rep.
That's why I didn't go anywhere else in Lowell. It seemed meaningless, right? Are people even really holding signs?
I saw Carla Miller. She was out in Chelmsford when I went.
I remember thinking that's an active one. But if you go to
probably a light turnout, right?
So the parking situation at the Bailey, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh man, who
sent that photo? Somebody sent
source
that photo,
deep dodge,
deep insider. I was told in Belvedere lines have not been longer. I joked to my friend who voted out there, saying, "What is the high school location back on the ballot?" But so in kind of starting to dig into that, I also was starting to hear reports of malfunctioning voting machines that were not taking the ballots. They kept spitting them out. And so I reached out to the City of Lowell Elections Office, actually spoke to Elections Director Greg Pappas, who said, yes, that has been a problem all day long in Lowell, but not just in Lowell. This is going on across the state. There's some thought that there's something with the ballots themselves, because that's the only common denominator. What's the common denominator between Lowell or Everett or Boston or whatever? And it's the ballots. The theory that seems to be gaining steam is, well, with so many mail-in ballots, you fold them 1 time, 2 times, however many times you have to fold them to get them in. I don't know, because I haven't done the mail-in voting.
Yep.
And now the machine is having a hard time. Now, you might say, well, why wasn't it this much of a problem in 2020 when I think we had even more mail-in voting due to the pandemic?
For sure, yeah.
Could it be something as freaky as where the fold takes place? We saw in Windham, New Hampshire in 2020
yeah.
that the fold was blamed for an undercount of 4 different Republican state reps in Windham,
Oh, of course they folded right at the Republican.
Well,
it was suspicious, but then when they went to it, I'm like,
Interesting.
It actually made sense once they went through
it makes sense, and I
But
don't want to go there. But again, as we continue this push to move to more and more mail-in voting, Damn it, folks. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. It works great for the rest of the world. They don't complain about voter suppression. They get 70, 80% voter turnout. People walk for days to go vote in some countries. The rest of the world has figured it out. Here in the United States of America, in 2022, we've got machines spitting out ballots because you can't fold them properly. Well, for the love of God, stop doing that. How about we just get everybody to show up and vote?
It's getting worse.
I agree with this one big time.
It's getting worse too.
Exactly.
I mean, this election is going to be a disaster.
And each side
Arizona
is
earlier.
using
Did you see
it.
Arizona?
Yeah.
Maricopa County was just.
Well, what a shock, Maricopa County. No, get out. Maricopa. No,
But they said
you
it was.
don't say.
Next thing you know, Philly's going to have issues.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Philly will not be delayed. No chance. Philly.
Milwaukee. Yeah,
But no,
exactly.
Maricopa then came out and they said we think it was a toner cartridge issue or something. But
Right.
like you're saying, for Lowell, there's nothing suspect going on. I don't think.
Are the Lowell
Essentially-
machines outdated?
Yes, Lowell has some very old machines. They're trying to
And
upgrade
again,
the
you've got
technology.
a higher than normal vote cast, right? It's more than a city council race. For sure, the numbers we're seeing, right? And you got 3 ballots, so you take that number and you triple it. Maybe it's just old-fashioned wear and tear happening. Just a thought.
Could be.
Simplest answer, right?
Could very well be.
I like the idea of tighten up the rules, though, Teddy. You know, like we don't have to have all this mail-in ballot.
You keep adding bells and whistles. You're just adding problems. Nobody's suppressing votes. Nobody wants to suppress votes. But we'd like to have faith in this election. And I know, Lord knows, I've been labeled an election denier, right? But who's going to deny these election results? Everybody that's labeled, 2020 and the Trumpers as election deniers and mocked us and ridiculed us and
Like Hillary Clinton?
called us everything. Exactly. Just remember, in 2016, it was your side denying the election. Hell, in 2000, it was your side denying the election. I mean, if you want to get right down to it, the original election deniers were the Al Gore folks, right?
Yeah.
But regardless, 2018, it was Stacey Abrams. 2020, it was the Trumpers and the Republicans. We get it. This time, I think the election deniers are going to be the Democrats. They're going to question, are the voting machines secure? We're hearing that, right?
Suppression.
We said that in 2020. Like, guys, these machines are connected to the internet. What are you doing? All of a sudden now we're starting to hear that in 2022, but it's coming from other voices. How about we just make sure the elections are secure, period? Stop blaming one side, stop blaming the other side. Why don't we just do what needs to be done so nobody can hack into a computer system that's wired, over the internet to send results back to town hall or city hall or whatever? Let's find a way to do it. We can figure it out. We got a man to the moon. We can figure out how to count ballots, get them securely put into machines, get them securely tabulated, and damn it, count them within a day or two. We don't need this 5-6 days of nonsense.
Why even the 2? Like, they're really, I mean, maybe it wasn't such a big deal, but it was kind of over on election night always, right? Until Bush Gore in 2000, fine. And that was so close, razor thin and hanging chads, that's fine. But all the other elections I remember, none of them. Did they go multiple days?
How about Florida? Florida's going to have your results by 8 or 9 o'clock.
Yeah, you want some Florida? You want a Florida update?
Yeah, let's hear what's happening.
If they can manage to take all these mail-in
But
ballots.
Florida and
voting.
Ohio have no problem counting the votes.
Yeah.
It's always the same counties. Fulton County in Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Maricopa County. It's always
Philly,
the same counties that get. And by the way, if you think this is because they're large cities and whatnot, well, Miami's a large city.
Yeah.
Cleveland's a large city. Boston's a large city. New York is the largest city on the planet. Los Angeles is the second largest city in America. I said largest city in the planet. I meant in America. Los Angeles, number 2. Chicago, number 3. They never have a problem. You know why? Their results are never close. Why is it only in the states that have become battleground states that we have a hard time?
Here we go. You all missed Teddy.
ballots.
You guys have missed Teddy. He's back. He's been here the whole time.
I'm
now
just
you hear him
asking
again.
you that because it's going to happen again tonight.
This is what we
Mark
missed at
my
the
words,
mornings.
it will happen again tonight. There will be no confusion in Boston. Boston will get their ballots counted. So too will Lowell, despite the Vogue
Wait, hold on.
situation.
Will we have the vote totals
Yes.
by 10 a.m. tomorrow when we come on the air?
Yes, you will have the Vogue totals by 10 p.m. tonight.
Really?
Is
They're
my
hand counting them?
understanding. They are hand counting them. And by the way,
They need help. Like,
an
I
opportunity.
can go help you.
An opportunity for me to dispel a couple of stories that were kind of circulating today. A lot of confusion about how the vote write-in campaign would kind of affect the tabulation of the ballots. My discussion with Elections Director Greg Pappas earlier this evening to talk about the machines and what was going on there. I also asked him, will you allow the polling locations or will the polling locations print out their results as they do per normal, usually by 8:10, 8:15, the machine spits out a thing, it gives you the vote totals, and will they be posted on doors/windows so people can record those results? And the answer was yes. They will do that. Then they will go back and they will start tabulating the write-in votes at the polling locations, and then everything goes back to City Hall. So that's
good for us.
Long way of saying we will probably know the results of the Rodney Elliott Carla Miller race by
9?
8:30, 9 o'clock the latest. I have folks in both camps who are kind of tabulating their numbers, and they're going to start to give me what they have. We caution everybody that these results will be unofficial until the city of Lowell puts them out. And technically, they're still unofficial results even when the city of Lowell puts them out tonight until they get certified by the Secretary of State's office. They are always unofficial results. So we want to put that disclaimer out there as well.
Yeah, but no, for those watching us and tuning in, this is what we got. Local, state, national. It's a combination of all three. You can't find all three anywhere else when it involves Lowell and Chelmsford, can you? I don't think so.
No. And all of them will affect us in one way or another. But, folks have kind of told me, well, there's really no drama. Lori Trahan is going to win that third congressional
We're not going to have to
district.
recount those five times.
And we'll look at that race as well tonight. But, there's some intrigue there. What kind of a House of Representatives is Congresswoman Trahan if she wins re-election, which most of us expect to do? What kind of House of Representative is she going to govern in? How will she govern? Will she move to the center? Who's going to become the next Democratic leader? Nancy Pelosi, the current Speaker of the House, hinted today that tonight's results would affect her decision on when to retire. Tonight's
For real?
results
I thought she was gonna go
and
for
her
150.
husband's
No
health.
way. No way.
I mean, if she suffers a stinging defeat tonight, will she just give up her seat? Will she?
Teddy,
will
there's
she
way
give
too
up
much money to be made. Cut it out.
Will she give up being the minority leader in the House? Will she let somebody else? Who is that somebody else?
I don't know. It's a good question. Like in the Senate,
Durbin?
you kind of see who's lined up. In the House, who's going to take over for Nancy? They're all too. I'm sure they all have plans to take it over, but typically the media they get a feel for it. I can't name a person. Can you? Is there someone we're forgetting or no?
No, I think you might see dare I say, I don't want to call it a civil war, but I think you're going to see an internal battle between the left and the right and the Democratic Party for control of that party once Nancy Pelosi is done. I mean, this will be her, I would guess one way or another, it's her last term as Speaker. Anyway, who assumes that mantle? The squad is going to want somebody a little bit more aligned with them to have it.
For sure. And they just get bolder and bolder.
Of course.
Actually, you know what? I'm not going to distract you with the Ukraine talk, but they put out a Ukraine statement a couple of weeks ago. Did you catch that? It was like the most gentle anti-war statement ever.
Was it about money laundering?
No, it was just about like, hey, maybe we should end this war. And it was, honestly, what they said was perfectly rational. And DC just crushed them. Like within hours, they're like begging for sorry. All they said, like gently, like, any chance we could think about doing some peace here? And the DC establishment just steamrolled them. It was actually embarrassing for that. Like AOC, there was one that stood tall. I forget. Not Roku. I forget her name. Ro something. But she was the only one of the whole group that's like, no, I meant what I said. I just want peace in the world. Is that too much to ask? Yes. And DC said, yes, it is. Actually. Get lost. So there's that crew. But let me give you an update.
We're not saying give peace a chance.
No.
All right. So what do we have? What do we have from some of the early states? Have we seen
New Hampshire 9% in?
Okay. What
Again,
do we got?
This is going to be tilted, but Hassan 63, Bolduc 34.
Okay.
Kaufman 2%. Jeremy Kaufman. I follow this closely. I don't know who
Potential spoilers?
2%'s a big
2%?
number.
Again, 9% in. we expect that to tighten considerably.
For sure.
Will Bolduc not only close the gap enough, but surpass?
We tried doing this. We did this in 2000, and it was all brand new because all the mail-in ballots, right? And it's like, and you saw early results like this, and you'll say, oh, they counted all the mail-in ballots first off, and you knew they were going to all be Democratic mail-in ballots, and that's why you have this wild number to start. So we didn't know. We were learning on the fly, literally. And by the end of the night, they're like, all right, now we're going to start counting the mail-in ballots. I'm like, whoa, I thought you already counted the mail-in. Like, oh, different states do it differently. This state, you count it first. This state, you count it last. And it's like, give me a fighting chance here. What's happening? How about
some of them don't arrive till 2 a.m. You know those postmen are working late.
Oh, yeah, wait. Polls.
Hang on.
Sorry, I'm being an election denier again.
How many do we need?
You know what? I just got a text. It's a good point. So this says, it's estimated 9% in. So don't go by that because the polls close at 8 in New Hampshire.
Okay.
I believe so. North Carolina I believe they are closed.
That North Carolina, by the way, was a race that was a Senate race that was originally thought had a chance to go Democratic.
Beasley, over Bud.
That's not happening, right?
Let's see if I just had it. Again, this is very early. I'm not even going to read these numbers. 58-39, estimated 33% in. Our site doesn't usually put estimated. They put, 33% in. So I'm going to hold off till 8 o'clock till we do some of these because I don't trust it. It has Marco Rubio in a close race too. Marco Rubio 52-47 with 38%.
I guess see that one stretching out a little bit.
That probably will stretch out a tad, but
I think so.
Well, Miami must be in.
What's the over-under on DeSantis? Some of these races, like you talked about Lori Trahan, the question is, what does she win by? What's a good night for her? We think she's going to win.
I think she'll be in the 60s.
You're wild. Last night you said 66. That's way high.
So we'll get to the Trahan race and the Elliott Miller race and kind of see where what we kind of put as the interesting line where we go from what was unexpected to what's expected. We are getting some feedback though from folks chiming on in.
That means they're watching.
Yeah, got our friend Tommy Duggan from the Valley Patriot says he's interested in the Drake rep race if I can get returns. So yeah, if we can get some returns from the Colleen Gary George Bogue rematch from 10 years ago, we'll get you those. But Tommy says, FYI, Republican Joe Finn is poised to surprise people in the North Andover Boxford rep race and defeat Adrian Ramos. He may be the only Republican challenger to win a rep race in Massachusetts today. That's Tommy Duggan from the Valley Patriot, who knows.
He's tapped into that area.
He knows that area very well. So I would at least say, you know what? Maybe there's some intrigue there. Our friend and fellow insider, the hyphen, Michaela Hondras McCarthy, sends a photo. She's watching us on the big screen.
Oh,
nice. My head's super shiny. Yesterday it was really bad in that chair.
Yeah, how does Asa's head look in the lighting?
It was like wax on, wax off.
The phone is giving you a little blue screen here, but I don't know. Let me see.
Although, Han, you were purple yesterday, so it was weird.
I don't know.
There's a look inside Michaela's living room, and there's the TV with Asa and Han.
Nice. You've got a sports hub feel here.
I do.
Watch that, yeah.
Wait till we get the studio decor. Once we get the studio sponsor. All hell
so breaking loose. A big one behind you? We're be a Milltown Plumbing or something like that?
We're redesigning the
It's
studio.
better not be a big picture of real estate Ray. Just one of those like big fat head of Ray.
Ray's not sponsoring at that level, but
bring beans and we'll say your name.
It's funny on our most recent Pod Squad podcast, I made a joke about our brand new studios, and my landlord shot me a note like, hey, I heard this. I want to do whatever I can to get you.
Oh, yeah.
So, David, if you're listening, I did fess up to David. We're just redesigning. But there is an office up front of this building that I'm looking at, a couple of years down the road. That would be a great, studio.
Who's cranking the music? They can't hear it on here, but I can keep. You have headphones on. You can't hear it.
I think there's a band or something that's playing from the
Trahan campaign part.
Literally, just random drums and banging happening in the background here.
Yeah, I think there's a rock band that practices. Jeff Thomas, local labor.
Oh, nice. All right, here we now we're
chiming in with the text says, "Hey, make Asa use the whiteboard. I want to see blue marks on it." Well, Jeff, you know what?
Well, you know what?
You asked for it. Tell you what, I would like you in blue marker, Asa, to go up to the board and make your prediction for what the United States Senate will look like after these elections. Blue is the Democratic seats that they'll hold when all is said and done. In red, I want you to write the Republican seats. I want you to do this for Jeff Thomas.
Then does Han go next? I'll do this for Jeff Thomas.
And
just
then have
because
Han
it's
do it.
Jeff.
Han doesn't need to do anything. Go ahead, carry on. You're the whiteboard guy.
Come on, you're the one. Yeah, you are the
You are the
whiteboard
guy who's been
But
beaming.
Michaela must be jealous because she
wanted that?
She wanted that.
You know who's
whiteboard.
jealous? Callie texted in. Callie
Callie
Lama.
Lama?
They're all coming
Oh,
back.
see?
He said he can't wait till we did a Civil War show. One episode of the other one.
Oh yes.
They would definitely do another Civil War, like a
You can
Gettysburg
say
show.
WCAP radio.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah, you're allowed to say that.
So-
Why not? We spent many
He's
years
the best
together
show.
on that.
Oh
show.
yes, I love WCAP.
And we didn't
Honestly,
have to,
I do.
and we could pick our noses and do whatever we wanted because we didn't have to worry about these stupid.
Yeah, but my
webcams.
head's not shining and Han's not turning purple and exploding. The Callie wants to draw the Gettysburg battle maps too. So just know, if you're Callie, if you're listening, you were on.
Right.
We usually do it right around July 4th, July 3rd, typically. All right, what am I doing?
Right.
Leave me alone.
You're heading over in red marker. We want you to write the how many seats you think the Democrats will control when tonight is said and done in the United States Senate. I won't make you do Congress.
Thank you.
You know what you're going to need is one of those touchscreen TVs that's like the size of the whiteboard, but it's a touchscreen. Behaves as a whiteboard.
By the way, the TV's coming.
Hey, all right.
Listen,
Imagine what Ace is going to do when he sees that thing.
Oh, he's gonna be great. He's gonna be like John Roberts over on.
Is this even a real show or is it like a practical joke?
He's going to
He's gonna make. No, we are.
It's all a big setup.
People are commenting, so they are watching. Oh, so you're going 53.
the hidden camera, not so hidden camera.
All right, interesting.
Wait a
By the
minute.
way, I happen to agree with you 100%.
But Hassan stays.
53. I think 53-47 is the number. Maybe if the Democrats catch a break, they get to 52-48. But I happen to agree with your number. We'll wait till Asa walks out of the way.
Wait a minute. Wasn't he supposed to draw like the seats of the actual chamber? You know.
Oh, I'm supposed to fill him in?
You know,
Like the State of the Union speech?
The balance of power.
like 47 blue heads
No,
and
me,
53
Joe
red
Murray.
heads.
This is where our technical guy, Joe Murray. And by the way, anyone, I didn't get to the point earlier. I asked if you were gonna release this, like you could watch the replay. If anyone wants to know what Joe looks like, watch the first minute of this broadcast. You didn't see it. He's crawling on the floor trying to get out of the camera range, and all you see is his head just pop up in the corner. Actually, if you're watching live, you can rewind it, right? And go back, watch the first minute, and just see him. You see his eyes catch the screen and just freeze. It's very funny.
It's going to be like the ghosts.
One thing I want to say about New Hampshire is that ever since Trump came around, the pollsters have been wrong, and they've been wrong in favor of Democrats. They think they're going to do better, and they don't. And the media is surprised, and the pollsters are surprised.
Nate Silver, the wonder boy of the Democratic left,
Yes.
came out this week and responding to criticism that he's letting the Trafalgar poll too heavily skew his predictions, said they've been the most accurate for a couple of elections.
Yeah, no, and again, with there was the cell phone shift, and now there's the Trump and the hate in the media, and like things have changed. But the weird part is that the polls have actually been wrong just in New Hampshire in the other way. If you've noticed that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like you see these Senate races, these congressional races, you think it's going one way, and New Hampshire surprises you. So that's one state. That's why I think all the other, toss-ups are probably going to go to the Republicans, but Hassan's going to hold.
So
We shall see. But here's the problem.
You think Hassan holds?
She'll hold.
I think she falls tonight.
Think so?
I agree
Yeah,
with Ted.
I'm gonna make a bold
I
prediction.
think Herschel
Say
Walker
Maggie
wins. I
Hassan
think Dr. Oz wins. I think
I
all of them.
where I
JD
disagree
Vance
with
wins.
you on the 53-47, I think the Democrats find a way to pull off
Which one?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Oh,
Yeah.
No,
I think
I'm sorry.
they find a way.
Are you trying to say win? 'Cause you said pull off.
Pull it off. They're going to pull off the victory.
Friday afternoon on
I
the
think,
ballot.
these lawsuits, there's a whole bunch of ballots that have improper dates on them, and we've already seen a lawsuit filed, and this is good. This will probably end up going to the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court again, and maybe the U.S. Supreme Court. But I think that the Democrats will find a way to get Fetterman's wife into that seat. Because he's not serving. The man is not well.
It's like a Jill Biden reference.
The man is not well.
Yeah, right.
And that's what she like.
Say her name.
Sneaky
Jill Biden.
Because none of us have seen him. None of us outside of Pennsylvania have seen the Fetterman who is the candidate that began in this
the
process.
blame game part of this is going to be amazing because let's just say the Republicans win, but it's 51-49. And you point to that, whatever that one closest race was, and say it was that one. Whoever decided that he should be in that debate and not skip it, just cost the Democrats everything.
You had to do it.
Oh, everything. It's like Biden, like Hunter Biden, Fauci, these people, like, oh my God, their whole lives are going to change. Hunter Biden is, if I was him, I would defect to Russia or something because it's going to get ugly for him. Fauci? You're going to have a party with Fauci.
I can't believe
Fauci congressional hearings.
when that man's come up and comes.
I'm saying, when you have...
He should just spontaneously combust.
Oh, not Ron Paul, his son, yeah.
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul has been
You have
gunning
Rand
for
Paul as a committee chair of whatever that is in charge of Fauci. Oh, lordy lord. That's going to be some interesting television.
I very much look forward to it. Fauci's going to pull out with a medical. Myocarditis, probably.
Like, what's up, Teddy?
Hold on, wait.
Been moving 5 times.
We got to pull the horn up there. Jeff Thomas says, great job, Asa. I didn't like the blue number, but thanks. You're a great man. Teddy, is there a direct text line or comment section to your computer instead of your phone? Your best bet tonight, Jeff, is text me directly.
Text Han.
Or, text Han. Text one of us. We'll get your comments read. But we are working on a text line and a call line. Again, we're going to try to debut the call line tonight with Rodney Elliott and Carla Miller. By the way, my clock says 8:01 p.m., which means if you're hearing me say this right now,
Oh, you were going to go the wrong way there, weren't you?
no, it's probably 8:02 p.m.
This is like when you're watching the NFL Red Zone. It's the witching hour.
Yeah, that's right. It's probably 8:02, but the polls have closed in Massachusetts, and we will start to get some results. And again, in the Lowell races, we will bring them to you as soon as we have them, and we'll do our best to kind of
We will put those on the board. How's that? We're going to put them live on the board.
On the board. But you can text me on my phone, shoot me an email, teddypanos@InsideLowell.com, or use my famous tedpanos at AOL.
Still works, huh?
Mike in Lowell, Mike Dillon says, do you guys have predictions on the Jeff Deal Maura Healey race?
55-45.
Ooh, you're going close, huh?
Yeah.
59. Not quite 60, but 59.
I'm going to go 60. I'm going to round it 60-40. Usually that in any year but 2022, I'd say Healy 65, 55,
Yeah, I would too. Yeah,
if not more. By the way, the kind of the number in the state rep, local state rep, state senate races, almost always 68-32, somewhere there in favor of the Democrat, which brings us to, what are we watching for? You both were all kind of at closer, right? 55, 59, 60 for the Healy Deal race. What are we in the Trahan race? Congresswoman Lori Trahan. Very few folks think she is in jeopardy. That she,
I'm going to give her the clean 60.
You're giving her
66.
So you say 66-34.
I think that most people and most voters are going to be blaming most general Democrats for Biden's horrific policies, and I think that she's going to skate. I do think that she has been bringing home the funds to her district, and I think that people will look at that as a positive for her and say, "Hey, she did what we asked her to do."
She's been working hard. She's been working like somebody who's in a close race. And, it got me asking, what are you folks seeing in terms of internal numbers? Are you seeing something? Again, shows you how pathetic the Republican Party is in Massachusetts. Yeah. They can't even afford to do internal polling.
For a congressional race?
For a congressional
race.
Wow. They didn't even bother spending money on Dean Tran to do congressional.
Democrats are pumping in money into all this stuff. Why don't they just pay for it?
So, but I will say this. I do believe that the National Democratic Committee probably sent out a memo to everybody, no matter how safe you are, run like it's a neck and neck.
They put out a memo saying, listen, we're looting DC, just take what you need.
And I think
inflation's out of control anyway.
I think
it's not going to matter.
With Lori Trahan being very visible, bringing home, as you correctly pointed out, Hans, she's brought home a lot of pork.
And you know what? She's not a fire breather either. She's not out there looking to engage and start fights and start trouble. She's not, she's not John McCain across the aisle, but you could kind of see she could be. And like you said earlier, with the new Congress, maybe she will have to be. So
this
I think
is
people are
my
okay
hope.
with that. And if you do your job and bring the money home back to the district, there's people, independent. I think the three of us are all independents probably. That's fine. Good enough. You don't have to love all of her policies.
I'm hoping we get the Lori Trahan as Congresswoman that we thought we were getting in 2018, kind of a centrist Democrat, which a lot of folks thought she was. And I understand why she went left, and I know when
there's a level of pandering that we could live without. I mean, if you follow her on Twitter, it's just there's a lot of liberal woke type pandering stuff. But again, guess what? If she's doing her job and bringing home the money, that's what matters. But I just wanted to make sure that if we could cut down the pandering, we'd appreciate that.
So what's going to happen if this is as much of a red, tsunami, wave, bloodbath, whatever you want to call it? If this is what we think it's going to be, the internal strife in the Democratic Party, you know what'll happen? The lefties, the socialists, the Marxists, as I like to call them, will say we didn't go far enough left. There was too many senators.
They can't possibly say that anymore.
The right does the exact same. We didn't go far enough right. We should have had a Bible on every, instead we should have had Bible door knockers instead of, posters.
Shout out Mitt Romney.
The extremes blame the centrists in their party for not winning elections and for losing elections. So that's going to happen here. Will the centrist Democrats kind of say, you know what? Enough is enough. We don't want to be associated with, let's call them what they are. They're not socialists. They're Marxists that do not like this country. I'm talking about Congresswoman Omar and Congresswoman Tlaib. They do not like this country. They do not respect what it was founded on. And they want to take it in a completely different direction. Will the centrist Democrats finally say this is destructive to our party and we cannot keep doing this? Lose a seat in New Hampshire if it happens, lose a governor's seat in New York. To me, that becomes a wake-up call. There's no way you can spin that to say we didn't go far enough left. No. If you lose the New York governor's mansion, Maggie Hassan loses.
That's the tsunami.
That's a sign that you went so far left that you lost even the people who sympathize with you.
Well, I don't know how they don't read the room at this point. I mean, that's what I think Trahan will do. I agree with you. I think she's going to read the room. I think she's going to say, you know what? People are not buying this. They're rejecting all the woke craziness. They're rejecting the nonsensical government spending that's crushing people. Inflation's just killing people. People can't afford to put gas in their car. They're not going to be able to afford heating their houses this winter. If you have these rolling blackouts, that's going to be a whole nother issue. There's just so many people that are going to get hit in the wallet that if you're a Democrat right now, you have to read the room and understand that you are being blamed for all this, whether it's you personally or your group. And I think that she's part of that group that's going to take it on the chin. And I think that because she's taking care of her district, she'll skate, but she does have to shift. If she doubles down and triples down on the woke nonsense, I think she'll be soon to be gone too.
All right. You are listening to 980 WC. 980 WC. I knew I was going to do that at one point. You're not listening to 980 WCAP. You are listening to Inside Lowell. You are watching Inside Lowell's election night podcast. The polls have closed in Massachusetts, and we're hoping to start to get some results in. We do have some, including a race called in Massachusetts. I'll get to that in a minute. I want to take this moment to thank our sponsors for making tonight's broadcast possible. You see them scrolling either on my side here. There's Spectacle Live. They're the first one on my list. If I go down to this camera shot, you'll see them down at the bottom, but pay attention to them. They'll be being presented to you throughout the night, but I want to just give them a little bit of love by reading them all. Spectacle Live, the Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce, IBEW 2321. What's the motto there, Asa? Digging holes and climbing poles? Is that?
I believe that's it.
I thought we said laying poles, but I could be wrong.
Batch changes every time he says it. But either way, we love them.
It works. Real Estate Ray Booton, Lowell Lock and Key, Stellar Web Studios, who designed the Inside Lowell website that's getting rave reviews from everyone out there. The Mill City Festival Fund, proudly helping bring you City of Lights 2022, Santa Claus, and the tree lighting and all the fun stuff coming to downtown Lowell on Thanksgiving weekend, Saturday, November 26th. Phil Tebow, architect, our good friend from the town of Dracut. Unitas, doing some great work for the Hispanic community. They do not call it the Latin X community at Unitas. They call it the Hispanic community here in the greater Lowell area. Merrimack Valley Wi-Fi pros. Yesterday, we were pleased to welcome aboard the Stones Hospitality Group, Cobblestones in Lowell, Moonstones in Chelmsford, and Stones Social up in Ace's neck of the woods, Nashua, New Hampshire. And just this morning, Christopher's Towing of Chelmsford also joined the Inside Track as a sponsor of Inside Lowell. If you would like your business showcased to our 20,000 plus viewers across all our platforms, the website, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube channel, 20,000 plus and growing by leaps and bounds. Shoot me an email, teddypanos@insidelowell.com, or email sales@insidelowell.com, and we're happy to bring you aboard this train. Plenty of room on that train. So, our first election calls, the Cali Llama, letting us know that Florida has been called for DeSantis and Marco Rubio. No surprise, but when you look at 2018, Ron DeSantis
30,000
won by
votes.
like 40. It was 49.6 to 49.3% over Gillum.
Andrew Gillum?
Look how far.
Rising star, Andrew.
Don't Google his name.
Look how far Ron DeSantis has come in 4 years. Look how far Florida has moved to the Republican.
That number, is he going to get to 60%? 60.
DeSantis?
That's a monster number for a governor.
He deserves it.
And what was a toss-up state 2 years ago, right? Essentially,
Not really. Again, Democrats
4 years ago
realize they've lost that state.
when Trump won, it was a surprise.
When he beat Hillary.
It was definitely.
But
People
people paying attention knew that Florida had changed. The number of registered Republicans had equaled, and now it has surpassed the number of registered Democrats in Florida. That shouldn't be a surprise. It should, again, serve as a wake-up call to the centrist Democrats to take back your party, and maybe you got a shot to get people like me back in your corner.
Miami-Dade County. So the early votes. DeSantis won 54 to 46. He won Miami.
He won okay.
I mean, he's going to be. I mean, that's going to be.
And again, so this
He could put up more than 60.
This is something to watch. So that's a heavy Hispanic vote, right? Now,
Cuban, so more conservative.
But polling leading up to the election showed the Hispanic vote a 50-50 split, where it used to be 70-30 Democrat. I think George W. Bush got to 40%, and that was considered a victory for Republicans. But if the Hispanic vote is 50-50, this is a bloodbath. It's not even a tsunami or a wave. It's a bloodbath. If the Hispanic vote is 50-50, Miami-Dade County,
I believe the
that's an interesting number.
Nationwide, I think the Hispanics have shifted 26 points in the Republican direction. I believe that the black vote is 6 or 8% shifting in the Republican direction.
We heard that going into the Trump election. Like Trump was, he did whatever. He got 12% of this vote, and he's going to get it up to 19 or 20, and that'll decide the race. And it didn't exactly happen that way. The Hispanic shift for sure is legit. They love DeSantis. Like what you said, it was like a 50-50 split. What if he wins that by one vote? You know what I mean? Like it's a seismic shift. And DeSantis isn't even running against Charlie Crist. He's running against Trump. That's what this number is. He wants to run up the score. I own Florida.
Charlie Crist,
This is against. He's going against Trump.
Former Republican governor, if I'm not mistaken, or Republican senator.
Maybe both. He was definitely a senator, but I think he was a governor.
And a Greek, by the way, who I was rooting against.
No one's perfect.
Got his ass kicked. But here's the race that we wanted to get to, the race called in Massachusetts. Fox News has called the Massachusetts governor's race for Attorney General Maureen.
Jeff Deal.
So
Rip up your Jeff Deal tickets.
So Massachusetts will have its first female governor serving, we think, a full term. Now, Jane Swift was the governor upon Mitt Romney's departure from the seat, but she did not win an election to get there and did not win re-election. Did she even run for re-election? I'm trying to remember. She may not have even run.
It ended really poorly.
Yeah, I don't. She had a helicopter ride issue on the issue, and before you know it, if I remember correctly, Deval Patrick beat somebody else, not not Jane Swift. I don't even think she ran.
No, yeah. I think she was happy to not run. She's like, I'm out of here.
Get me out of here.
Give me one last helicopter ride out west, and good luck to all of you.
So Maura Healey, congratulations to Maura Healey.
It's a big moment.
First female governor in Massachusetts.
All you crazy red wave, like there were people out there that, if you listen to like WRKO, and if you really get sucked into that bubble, they legitimately thought that Deal had a shot. So it's like, all right, now that that's done.
How do you think that they performed in their debate, by the way? I thought that she outperformed Deal. I thought Deal had an opportunity to take advantage of some of the things that she had to say, and he just didn't dive on it. He did kind of get on her about COVID, which I liked. But when she was standing up there trumpeting that she's going to cut taxes and improve the economy, I was almost like, you have to respond to that, don't you? Like if you're Deal, you have to. That's like red meat. You should be chewing all over that.
Jeff Deal, to me, the Republicans maybe long shot, but maybe had they put Chris Doty up there, a centrist, a Charlie Baker Republican, Charlie Baker might have gotten behind him. They might have had a chance in a red, bloodbath to maybe get there. The second they put Deal, look, Deal's run statewide.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't lose by the margin he lost to Elizabeth Warren in a statewide race. It's the same electorate. It was 4 years ago. It's not going to shift that much for him to be able to overcome what I think was a close to 70-30 shellacking. Why the Republicans thought that was the winning strategy in the governor's race? Maybe he was a sacrificial lamb. Maybe now they're finally rid of Jeff Deal.
Yeah, it was the Trump interference. It's what you saw in a lot of these races. It's the reason Herschel Walker's the candidate. Didn't Corey Lewandowski take over Deal's campaign for a period of time?
Actually, you're right.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, it's a direct Trump involvement. So we'll see. It's it's scoreboard night tonight. Herschel Walker. I forget who the other candidate was, but I will bet my life he was a better candidate. I think Herschel Walker's going to win. He's probably the favorite. But if you watched him in the debates, sorry, I don't care if you're a Democrat or you just don't want him as your senator. You don't want Fetterman as your senator. Take them both. I don't care. Whatever you want. I just want rational, capable people. Like, I don't like Elizabeth Warren at all. She is a capable person. Some of these people are just not great.
Callie Lama says it was Kerry Healey that Deval Patrick beat in that 2006 gubernatorial election. No relation to Maura Healey.
Would you just come down here and help us out?
How is Callie not part of our election?
He should be on the board, too.
But by the way,
he's some eye candy for the ladies watching the show.
We're also hoping to be joined in a little bit by Mary Burns, the newest insider, newest member of the Inside Lowell team, and the point person for Charlie Baker and Lieutenant Governor Karen
and someone
Polito,
that probably knows all about the Republican split in Massachusetts and the Jeff Deals. I'm sure she knows more than probably anybody in Lowell.
She's got a lot of thoughts on that, and she will share them, I'm sure, both in writing and contributing to our podcast here on Inside Lowell. She believes that the end is near for Charlie Lyons I'm sorry, Jim Lyons.
I almost call him Steve Lyons.
Charlie Lyons, former school committee member up there, I think at Neshoba. But Jim Lyons, this could be the end for him because...
it depends on what Deal puts up, I suppose, for a number, right? If he puts up anything in the 40s, which is unlikely, they could say, hey, not bad. If it's in the low 30s, it's time to switch things up here.
They've managed
that number
to lose seats.
I know.
They've managed to lose seats in the Massachusetts House of Representatives.
I think you're right.
And the Senate in his tenure. Look, the Republican Party needs to unite. It needs new leadership that can unite him. Somebody who can maybe go to both sides and say, listen, you can fit the Republican Party in Massachusetts into a phone booth. Why the bleep are we fighting each other? The enemy is over there. Unite, fight, start to settle on candidates, get some of them elected to school committees, get them elected to councils or boards of selectmen. Start slow. It will take time, but they have to employ a long-term strategy. And they've got to find a way to at least get that governor's seat back at some point.
They probably blew an opportunity here this year because if there were ever an environment where you
opportunity
could
for what though?
But like there's just a shift to the conservative side.
I know there is, but it's Massachusetts.
Like if you're gonna convince people, maybe if you are united, maybe if you do kind of dial in your message in a specific way, you can sway a lot of those centrists in your direction.
You have a red
That's what you
wave
should be
that's
trying to do.
that may stretch all the way to New York State and maybe even to New Hampshire, and your governor's race was called at 8:01 p.m.
Yeah.
That's not good. If you're the Republican Party in Massachusetts, I know I got a lot of you are my friends out there. You've got to stop this infighting. You have to unite. You have to kind of get smart and realize that you're in Massachusetts. What works in Georgia, what works in Texas, what works in Florida, not going to work in Massachusetts. You look, nobody was more mad at Charlie Baker than I was for the COVID lockdowns. Well, maybe. But
they can shut down the golf course, son, huh? That wasn't good.
For Massachusetts Republicans to grow and become a legitimate party again, Charlie Baker is your model. Not Jeff Deal.
For sure.
Not Jim Lyons. Not Attila the Hun.
And Baker was
lost to an attorney general. Look at the track record of attorney generals running for governor in Massachusetts. And they called that race at 8:01.
Just, you know what? She was a better candidate than them, though. She had a smooth campaign. There was not a lot of bumps in the road. She didn't really step in it. That was inevitable. Here's a question we had last night. You talk about local races and winning and losing seats in the Massachusetts. Who do you think would have won? We're waiting for the Rodney Elliott results, which we think we might get in the next 15, 20, 30 minutes. If Rodney Elliott was a Republican in this race, could he win it, this district?
No.
You don't think so?
No. Well, who's the Democrat?
Say it was Zoe.
No.
You think she'd win?
If Democrat versus Republican? Sure. So,
But I'm saying you got a huge name, Rodney Elliott, in Lowell.
I think he could have won.
I think he could have won.
as a Republican?
Yeah.
No. You guys are dreaming.
I think he has enough name recognition locally to carry him there.
I think he lost Chelmsford, didn't he, to Zoe,
Yes.
straight up?
Yeah.
So that obviously that's a problem.
And he lost
But then again, no, hold on. But he lost. That was a Democratic primary, so those numbers could balance off. I think he could win Lowell. I don't know. I whatever. It's it's a what if. It's just something to think about. But I think
council elections versus state. The year that there's state seats up there, there's no presidential race. But Democrats out in Lowell, the number's 5-1. Democrat to Republican registered voters. That means you have to carry an insane number of unenrolled to win that race. It's just you're starting at such a disadvantage.
I'm saying, if anyone could have done it, he's a candidate, right? I mean, obviously maybe Rita Mercier but just in that scenario, all right, we're just throwing it out there. Something to think about.
Yeah.
So here's your question. And I may send you back to the whiteboard. 'Cause you know what we need? We need a sponsor for the whiteboard. We need a sponsor. We'll plaster your logo right next to it there, right?
No, I want less.
Look at that area there, right? We got a nice.
Can you actually see it? Hold on.
Yeah, we can go stand in that wall. We'll plaster your logo.
We should have slapped the tux on it.
I can see it. Huh?
Yeah, of course you can see it.
Did I spell Hassan right?
I think you did. I think you did. But we'll plaster your sponsor logo all over that wall right there. Or we'll put it on the back of Ace's bald head.
I want this to be sponsored by Lockheed Martin, the makers of the HIMAR missile system. All right.
I like it.
Could you work on that for
That's
me?
giving Ukraine a chance against the old Red Army.
All right, why am I? What am I
All right,
doing?
I want you to write your prediction. What will the numbers be when all the votes are tallied? Rodney Elliott in blue, Carla Miller in red. We're going to use our markers. Going to make Jeff Thomas happy. We're going to put a little blue on that map.
So Rodney's blue, right?
Rodney, he's the Democrat. He's blue.
Oh, jeez.
The pressure is overwhelming. Just pick a number.
I want to pick an accurate number.
Oh, okay.
The internet is forever here.
Yeah. We talked about this yesterday.
Let's give her. It's hard to tell because this race has been contested and it's always Tom Golden, 93%. Literally. Talk amongst yourself, like that.
All right, well,
Leave me alone.
4258.
Oh, no,
Oh, you're going under 60, huh?
I thought you wanted actual numbers, like
Oh, no.
2,800.
Oh, no, percentages.
I'm going through my head. I'm like,
Wow,
all right,
wow.
Daddy Mom, we got 944 votes.
Who brought a beautiful mind to the show?
What are we, the Geek Squad? We're inside.
Yeah, we are the Geek Squad. Look at me. I'm writing a board on the internet.
He's doing calculus in
No.
his mind right now.
Carla Miller, the Republican in red. Oh, he wrote the 38. You're going 62-38.
You know what? Yes. Want to go Hot Rod or just Rodney? All right. There you go. Can you see it?
62
happy, Jeff?
38. 62-38 is your prediction. Han, what did you say?
I'm going to go 4258.
42. So you're saying I'm going to go 65-35. Rodney Elliott. I just think that Democratic supermajority is
Democratic autopilot in Massachusetts
too
is
much.
alive and well.
Again, now that, by the way, any of those numbers could be considered moral victories for the Republicans and Carla Miller, because, again, the numbers are usually 68-32, 70-30. Sometimes you get to 71-72 for the Democrat in these local state rep races. So let's go back to the whiteboard here.
So two things. If we use the board to kind of like predict and gamble and do things, I'm all in. I'm good with this.
Okay.
Two, I'm sorry, Jeff Thomas. I started blue and I kind of drifted red.
Yeah, why
I don't know.
erase those numbers right now and put the Rodney Elliott numbers in blue before poor Jeff Thomas has a heart attack.
Asa, have a little professionalism.
It's like you've never done this before.
So,
You can't dream about the whiteboard for so long, and now you get your crack at it. Just
by the way, Guillermo Pena sent us a comment.
Oh,
Said,
no.
You guys need to run sponsor ads for 3 minutes. Take a break. Put the full screen up there. At some point we're going to start rotating in and out of these seats because one of us is going to have to take a bathroom break or at least go grab a couple of waters. But we do have this starting soon screen and the endless slew of music. Can you guys hear it?
It's like generic music, or is that
It's just non-copyrighted.
bringing that house band from next door that's rocking out? You can't hear them. There's a house band jamming.
Yeah, let's bring a live band in, but
Hey, listen, guys, do you mind doing a live election show set while we go have cigarettes out front?
that's the homework assignment for our technical director at Inside Lowell, Joe Murray. He's going to create this here. Oh, no, wrong one. Hold on.
No one can create that.
Instead of starting soon, it will say,
Stay tuned.
we'll be back
And even do a
in a
countdown.
minute, and maybe just
it's like a 5-minute timer.
clock, or put some sponsor logos, or I don't know, run a YouTube video, or maybe we can create like a commercial for Inside Lowell that we could put together
Like your own for this, or for your sponsors.
for our sponsors. Let's just put them on a loop. We can do this.
All right. I like this.
That way, all three of us can go take a break at the same time.
Put these great minds together. Things start happening.
We're getting there. We're getting there. All right. So we are awaiting results in the 16th Middlesex state rep race. Rodney Elliott, the Democrat. Carla Miller, the Republican. Numbers should start to get printed at the various polling locations, and we do have a network out there that will send us some results as they get them. Our friend Jack Mitchell, Insider, will be joining us here shortly after 9 o'clock in our studios. He said he was at the McAvenue School at 7:50. The votes were 594 in 1-1, 821 in 1-2. Says I already divided by 3, so anyone's going to ask.
Yeah.
So those are actual voters.
Could you repeat that again? Sorry.
So that's
1-1?
594 in 1-1.
Yep.
And 821 in 1-2 at 7:50. So they may get one or two more stragglers that walk in. He says he's going to sit there. He's going to watch the hand count to see how that goes in the vocational runoffs, which is a whole disaster.
Wait, they're counting them on site?
They have to count
Oh, I thought they were bringing them all. All right.
No.
So I thought the process was, for those who don't know, 8 o'clock hits, they lock the doors, they print out the tally from the voting machines, which is kind of the raw numbers and what we go with and what we're going to be reporting on. By the way, pretty soon.
I'm not being rude here by interrupting. I'm going to go get us. I'm going to keep it on camera too. And I'm going to go get us each a bottle of water. How's
that's very nice.
So you keep talking for like, 45 seconds. Okay?
I can do it.
All right. Take it away.
45 minutes.
we now return to Asa's commentary.
When you come back, you're not going to like the conversation.
It's like the Ryan Johnson of Inside Lowell. Talk to himself forever.
Attention class. But no, we get the raw numbers straight. Have you been into a polling location that closes?
Yes, I have.
Right. They just print it up there.
Tape it to the window.
That's the raw numbers. You got enough people throughout the city of Lowell. Just start counting them up. You're good to go. You've got unofficial results. For a period of time today, we'd heard that they were not going to do that because they had to hand count all the Greater Lowell Tech votes because they're all write-ins.
Yeah.
Which meant not great for us doing an election show when you can't get any numbers. And with only 3 people that work at City Hall, if they were getting all the numbers and trying to tally them all up, it was honestly going to take until tomorrow morning. But we've been told that is not the case. They will do the printout.
And then...
Well, hold on. All right, this is the question I was going to ask.
Separately.
So is it going to be printout, we get the numbers now in like 5 minutes, and then they give us the hand count? Or...
Yes. I am anticipating getting some numbers.
We're not going to wait
very quickly
till 10:15 for the hand count of the Greater Lowell Tech votes. We don't think so.
We're going to stay on until at least.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
hopefully we'll get.
You see what I'm saying? We either get it right away or everyone waits till 10 or 10:15.
I don't think they're going to. Well, actually, they do kind of have to report them, I believe, at every polling location. So they may have to.
They have to be posted for the public, essentially.
So that is.
I don't know if
true.
I feel like it'll be done in 2 waves. You get the initial printout, and then here you go. Here's the hand count, because
that's the most logical way.
Well, you got the Lowell police that has to go to all these polling locations and take the machines. And you have the DPW trucks that have to take them, and they can't do any of that until they're done counting, I would assume. So.
Very interesting. By the way, another technological breakthrough. Guillermo Peña said he's able to watch on our homepage inside Lowell and do other things on his phone or tablet without it stopping. We had a glitch on our first debate and some of our other podcasts that if you're watching on the YouTube channel, which by the way these podcasts we do will be up there for eternity on our YouTube channel. You can watch them tape. But one of the things with YouTube, unless you pay for the premium YouTube, which I'm too cheap to do, you try to text somebody and your YouTube video stops.
Sometimes my phone lets me do it.
But it doesn't. Do you pay for YouTube?
No.
I don't either. And so the phone must have did an update because in the past it was like that. And
mine allows it now.
There is a way it kind of stays as a little square at the bottom.
It just magically
I don't know how it happens. Right, I don't know how it happens.
It kind of happens.
But if you do watch on our website, you can keep InsideLowell.com. You'll hear the audio from this podcast, and you'll be able to do whatever else you need to do on your. I don't know. The Bruins and Celtics both played last night. So
what does Gilly need to do? Just go terrorize the rest of your staff with horrible comments?
Maybe he's watching the city council meeting.
Maybe he's hitting a bucket of balls into a net.
Who knows?
He's getting mean.
So CNN, going to CNN to see if they have any surprising results here. They're projecting Rand Paul beating progressive Democratic challenger Charles Booker. No surprise there. That was not one. Marco Rubio, they projected, which we already had. Ron DeSantis. We don't see anything, though, Asa, yet. We haven't gotten any notification of a race that was kind of, going to be a close one that might show which way we're going. Will it be as big of a night as the Republicans hope nationally?
You know why they're not? It's the same thing I'm seeing. It's some of these early votes, whatever the batches are, they're not balanced. So it's 60-40. It's Fetterman 80-20, and it's like, that's not, it's not even worth even saying. Let's see. Sarah Huckabee Sanders win.
Oh, out in Arkansas.
Yeah.
So what is she? Is she
governor?
Oh, okay. Following in Daddy's footsteps.
Yep. Texas, Greg Abbott up 56-42 over Beto O'Rourke.
Is this going to finally be the end of Beto?
Yes, please.
Bobby.
What is his real name?
Robert.
It's like Robert
Rourke.
Robert Rourke.
He could own a
Shout out to the
restaurant
Bobcat.
downtown Lowell.
Yeah, he's like we have a cousin named Robert Rourke. Very honky-ish. You know what I mean?
Bob,
He doesn't pretend to be anything. He's probably in that band down there jamming out.
I gave some advice to my Republican friends out there, in Massachusetts, get smart. To my Democratic friends, you got to lose the Marxist baggage, the beta, lose it. It's good. It's not helping you.
Not the Marxist baggage. Lose the losers. He is just a loser. How many times do you need to lose?
All right, let me break in here. We have our first results here.
Nice.
In the race for state rep. Oh, here we go. Some numbers. 16th Middlesex District. I don't know which precinct this is, but we have Rodney Elliott with 418 votes. Carla Miller with 209. There were 2 write-ins. Those numbers coming in. This is an actual printout from one of the polling locations in Lowell.
Lowell.
Pawtucket Memorial. That's one of them at the Pawtucket Memorial School. So, that's exactly 2-1, right? 418 to 209.
Yeah, on the nose.
So that's 66-33.
You want another board?
So that's, but okay.
Now you don't want the board?
Well, put that up there. But I will say this: it's the Pawtucketville Memorial School. Rodney Elliott is a Pawtucketville resident. He should win that handily over Carla Miller. He did by a 2-1 margin. Let's see what happens in Centerville. Let's see what happens in Chelmsford. Again, not that I think this race is in doubt, but the margin is, and there are some things as moral victories for some of the candidates.
Is that 1-4? I'm guessing that must be 1-4.
Pawtucketville Memorial School. Aren't there like multiple?
There's 1-4 and 1-3.
So okay.
But kind of based on the
so
vote.
that would be the first one.
6, 18. I'm guessing that has to be 1-4. So whatever. It's important. It's important to me. So now we're still going to wait for 1-3, which will have a bigger voting total.
Okay, so here's the other Pawtucketville Memorial that just came in. Rodney Elliott 507, Carla Miller 256.
Oh, just missed another double
just
up.
Missed 2-1. But you combine those here. What do we have? 507, 256. Added to, what do we say?
418.
418 and 209.
I got 925 versus 465. Very unofficial.
465 and again, please let's
where I need Jerry. Jerry Nutter was good.
These are unofficial results. But they are from the printouts. These are not just reports that we're getting. These are the actual printouts from the voting machines that tabulate the votes. They are posted onto the glass windows or doors at each of the polling locations. So this is the Pawtucketville Memorial School.
So we'll call that 1-3 and 1-4 if it matters to you.
So 925 to 465, almost exactly a 2-1 margin by Rodney Elliott in Pawtucketville. So I would initially say I'm looking good at my 65-35. However, Carla Miller should be a little bit stronger in
her home
Chelmsford and maybe in Centerville if she can close a little gap there. You guys with your predictions, as let's go to our new whiteboard cam here. Han, you're at 58-42. Asa, you're at 62-38.
So a couple comments. I feel like Tom Cruise watching Rain Man count cards right now.
By the way, that's if I get my head.
Academy Award winner.
If I get my head, let me scratch the top of my head here.
You know what you look like? You look like Seinfeld. Remember when he has that moment with like
look, we set this literally this camera got set up at 6:48.
Yes, it did.
PM tonight.
I was the model. Stand there. No, stand there.
But you know what though? Look at that. That's pretty good, I mean,
the writing's horrible. We need to clean that board. It's very dirty.
Well, that was the previous tenant left it like that. I just brought the erasers in here today, but we get a nice
NBC News that was here before.
We get a sponsor logo or an inside Lowell logo, like see the one we have right behind you guys.
Oh, that is nice.
Or right behind me. I order one more of those and put it on the whiteboard there, and we got ourselves a good camera shot.
A magnet, yeah.
I'm liking this.
Now, what do you think? Do you think that because this seems to be Rodney Elliott's home turf, is this as good as it gets for Rodney Elliott around 66-34?
I think you again you get that Democratic machine, and who would have ever thought that we would be sitting here on an election night in Lowell, Massachusetts, and using the words Democratic machine and Rodney Elliott in the same sentence, right? I mean, I saw a picture.
There's a reason I asked if he could have won as a Republican.
I saw a picture on his Facebook page yesterday with Ed Markey, and I was thinking to myself, oh, I would love to.
He's hiding the MAGA hat. Marky's here.
I would love to send that to him and do a little, doctoring of it.
He's going to win. He's going to win. We know he's going to win. And he's going to govern as a Democrat. And guess what? To do his job properly for the citizens of Lowell and Chelmsford, he has to be a Democrat to do anything. If he win and as a Republican, like we said, it's an interesting conversation. Could he actually win? But he couldn't govern. He couldn't do anything. So going in as a Democrat, playing ball, doesn't mean you have to get behind every crazy woke loony idea. You could be like Tom Golden. You can be like Dave Nagel. You could be Kevin Murphy. Lowell's got a long history of centrist Democrats. So he's primed to do a good job for the city.
Actually, I stand corrected. Those were actually the Greenhalgh numbers. Those were the Centerville numbers that we gave. Those were not Pawtucketville Memorial.
Okay, so
let me correct that. Our first correction of the evening.
So much for my home turf commentary.
But that's again, so that's Centerville. That's not even Pawtucketville.
That's not even Christian Hill.
Now I'm feeling a little bit better. My 65-35 might have been a little too generous for Carla Miller. We may get closer to that 70-30 mark that seems to delineate most of these.
Pawtucketville is strange. Right. They kind of never do what you think they're going to do.
All right, so here's some McAvenue here. McAvenue, one of the McAvenues, 552 for Rodney Elliott, 258 for Carla Miller.
Pretty consistent.
This is much easier to do on radio than on
I know
the camera there, because now people can see us like looking down and
I want to hide
back and forth.
Can I sit around the corner and just talk?
No.
But by the way, in that one, the McAvenue one, Ed Kennedy in center, 617 votes, 212 blanks, and 18 write-ins. so the blanks and the write-ins are almost as competitive against
I forgot to mention this earlier. I wanted to see Ratty's race. Will Ratty get the... It's always, they had the competition. They were always unopposed. The guys we just mentioned, Nagel, Tipper Golden, and they always get 91, 93. Will Ratty get 82%?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, can he get over 90? Yeah, no, because I think the Carahog.
There is some.
They would probably, if I put my name on the ballot, I think that crew would vote for me over Ratty Mom.
So we're taking the under 82%?
Yeah, I think I could get some staunch Democrats.
Literally, you're betting that blanks will get about 20%?
I think so. I'm agreeing with you. Some numbers from New Hampshire. Ace.
I've been slacking.
All right. 13% reporting. Maggie Hassan, 61%. General Bolduc. Don Bolduc, right? That's his name?
Yeah, Don.
36.9, 37, 61, 37. Pappas, 60.6. Levitt, 39.4. McLean Custer, 65.9. Burns, 34.1. Now, I will say this. These are obviously Democratic strongholds because...
For sure.
Yeah.
Sununu, 50.7. Sherman, 47.9.
Yeah. That might mean Manchester's in.
So
that's
what it sounds like.
That's Manchester, Nashua, or whoever. So if you're Bolduc, if you're Levitt, you're not feeling that bad that you're at the kind of the 60-40, 61... 37.
We're getting closer to numbers where I personally will
It's going to be like
share
closer
because
in the
again,
Kentucky Derby. They're going to come charging from behind.
Well, they are for sure. I mean,
Absolutely.
Listen, there's not that many people in New Hampshire. It's 1.4 million people. How many of them actually vote? Manchester's got about, I'm not sure, maybe a little less than 200,000.
Yeah, but
Nashua's about 100,000. Like that's a big chunk of the population right there. If you get the Manchester numbers in first, that's going to sway everything.
Does the one?
But like you said, it is. It's just the horse race chipping
away.
Does
the 1.4 million account for the tens of thousands of college students who aren't New Hampshire residents but show up to vote anyway?
Or the buses, right? The buses from every race. Oh, there's a bus from Lawrence. It's like, how do you know they're from Lawrence?
We also, Jack Mitchell, one of our insiders who will join us later, he's staying there watching. He wanted to watch the hand count process. These are the kind of geeks we have.
Oh, no, he's a legal beagle. He's on the case.
He writes, this is a very boring process. These folks are careful and methodical.
I'm sorry, I thought it's a very boring broadcast.
No. He's not watching us. He's watching the But this is what you want. You want those hand ballots, the write-in votes, to
So
be
is he
counted
over someone's shoulder?
methodically.
Like, how is he watching?
Well, he is a member of the press. He is a member of Inside Lowell.
Nice.
So
I used that earlier today, by the way.
Ooh.
Did you? Good.
Yeah, it's
You
the guy in
should.
Pawtuckaville. He wanted to say hello to you, by the way.
Let's create some. Let's create
Badges,
Some,
absolutely.
yeah, badges. We need some press badges.
Super Bowl's right around the corner.
I almost forgot. Fingers Lou. Do you know who that is? He said to say hello to you.
Fingers Lou. Oh,
Lou.
is this Lou Champagne?
Older guy.
Does he wear funny pants?
I couldn't tell the pants. There's a
I'm
reason he
afraid
had
of
his
where this is
nickname.
going.
No, it's,
By the way, what kind of red wave do you think Jack's rooting for tonight?
Jack? Oh, Jack's gonna. I've been busting.
yeah, we should get out of here before he shows up.
The last-
It's a breaking thing.
The last 2 weeks, I've been busting him pretty badly on text about he's gonna have a long Tuesday night.
Can you switch that camera for 1 second onto you?
Which camera? Just to me?
Yes. Teddy. Look at Lou. Make sense?
No, I don't.
I'll tell you later.
Sorry.
He's a very nice guy. He liked you a lot. So, and he's a big fan of the of your work on the radio and the Athenian Call.
All right, we got a little problem here. The other McAvenue printout sheet.
All right, what's going on?
I'm told is unreadable.
Oh no!
So whoever took the picture at the McAvenue, can you please get it in focus?
It's tough.
Or you know what? Take one that's in focus and send it to tedpanos@aol.com, please. And I will try
And again,
to.
we're locking in those first numbers as the green house.
Yeah, the first two are
first
green
batch
held.
there, yep,
where
the double ups.
between the first and the second one, Rodney Elliott had 925 votes, Carla Miller 465. At the first McAvenue, 552 to 258, a bigger than 2-1 margin for Rodney Elliott. Obviously, if you're in the Rodney Elliott camp, you're probably exhaling right now. I don't think this, because we're at 1477 versus barely over 700 at this point. There aren't enough votes in Chelmsford to make up. And we're still waiting on, Pawtucketville Memorial, another McAvenue, another, Christian Hill and whatnot.
The only question is the
Hey,
spread.
you just said you were the media. You calling it?
Should we call it? Should we do it? Should we make our first ever
One more.
call?
One more.
We'll wait for one more.
Yeah, why not? You want to be the first one to be wrong.
What a wimp.
I call it.
What a wimp.
You both know that it's dead. Let's go.
He's setting you up. He wants your seat.
No. Jeff Thomas says, Asa, you're allowed some plus minus with corrections. So,
All
right.
You know what?
Hey, how do you think Chelmsford will do with question 1, by the way?
You know,
A lot of
Chelmsford
expensive
was,
properties out there.
It's a great debate just because there are similarities between question 1 and question 4. They're not, but they're on the same path essentially with the type of voters. It will be interesting when you get to Concord and Lexington in these rich suburban places where they go, can I get my house looked at and evaluated real quick here?
so Chelmsford has gotten that's one of the dirty little secrets, very, very left. You remember they had to split it into 4 state rep seats originally just to kind of keep them from electing a Republican.
Yep.
Notice
It worked.
Notice that's now
brought the heel.
That's down to 3 now. The Vanna Howard, formerly David Nangle seat, is now moved
Keep this up,
away
kid. You get
from
your own
Chelmsford
state rep,
and moved to Tewksbury, which tells me the Democrats feel very safe that Chelmsford is not going to go Republican on any of their state rep seats right now. And that, I think, was kind of showcased in the Democratic primary in this race that we're talking about, with Zozaniku winning Chelmsford outright. No name recognition prior to the election. Rodney Elliott, again, his name recognition was in Lowell, but Chelmsford residents get the Lowell Sun newspaper. Chelmsford residents listened to WCAP radio. They heard the name over and over and over again, Rodney Elliott, Rodney Elliott, Rodney Elliott. That matters in these races where you don't have name recognition. And still, Zozaniku was able to win that race. Why? Because a lot of the staunch Democratic groups started sending out mailers. The teachers' unions, the environmental groups, the Planned Parenthood type.
Oh my God.
They were all sending literature out for Zozaniku, and lo and behold, she beat Rodney Elliott in Chelmsford, which was a stunner to me and to many other election observers.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, it just hit me. We're doing an election show. Roe versus Wade got overturned, and we haven't mentioned it once. I mean,
Because we're in Massachusetts.
I know, but I will say this. I genuinely thought it would be a bigger deal when it happened, like, or the build up to it, if they ever overturn it. It's clearly a big deal. I think some of the exit polls show like 25, 27% of the people nationwide, that was their number one reason to vote. But we're not avoiding the topic. It just didn't come up in our natural course of the conversation. Honestly, maybe it's because we're three men. That's probably true. But didn't you think it would be a bigger deal when it happened and when it carried into this election?
It happened. It peaked too soon. I think the Democrats put their eggs in the abortion basket.
If it was late summer, they actually got some momentum back, and they have just. But it's wild.
Did they get momentum back, or were the pollsters just picking up the topic of the 2 weeks? Because ultimately, Asa,
for sure. But I'm saying, what if it happened 2 weeks ago?
You know how elections go. Right here. This right here. The wallet. This decides. You cannot have gas prices spiraling up again. They caught a break when the gas prices went down a couple of months ago, but they've started going back up. They're up about 40 cents a gallon right now. You can't have inflation. Today I got a notice from my bank that our interest rate's going from 7.25 to 8%. Every month I get a letter from my bank telling us our commercial loan is going up. 8%. We were at 2.75. a year and a half. That's real money to people.
Sure.
Go try to buy a head of lettuce. First of all, if you can find one, they now have limits on how many heads of lettuce you can walk out of Market Basket with in Massachusetts. But go try to find it.
Wow.
$2, $2.50 a head of lettuce. Eggs. These are the issues that ultimately matter. And it doesn't matter if you're black, if you're white, if you're whatever. You want to be able to feed your family. You want to be able to turn on your heat. We haven't even gotten to the winter yet and the blackouts that are coming.
I'm not naive. I understand all of this. I'm just saying Democrats are going to get wiped out tonight. And that's with the first election from Roe v. Wade getting overturned. Like, that is...
But most of
it just makes it so much worse for Democrats. Like, this, whenever that was overturned, it was always going to be this wild backlash and, careful what you wish for. And
but
it just hasn't materialized.
Nationwide, abortion's like a losing topic, though, for the Democrats.
It's in most
clearly. I don't know if it's losing, but not.
It's close to an even split.
Right. Yeah. It's not losing, but it doesn't seem to be winning.
It's 48-43. It's 52-45 or whatever. It's not a landslide for them. When the economy, when independents are going. Breaking all, I don't want to say 2-1, but significantly for Republicans here the last couple of weeks, it's this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right here,
I'm just saying though, if there was a girl,
wallet.
If Michaela or someone else was here, we would have talked about it in the first hour and a half. I mean, really, it is a big topic, and we just kind of missed it.
Right. Hold on, we got a little more breaking news. We got some results from Chelmsford. We might have to use the gratuitous plug bell here for whatnot. But this is Representative in General Court, 16th District, number 1 in parentheses. Rodney Elliott, 197. Carla Miller, 150. 347 total votes cast, no write-ins, 23 blank votes, 197 to 150. Now, I don't know if this is the only Chelmsford numbers that will come in. There may or may not.
That's a low total.
Be more. And I am also told they do not include mail-in, which I know there was a little discrepancy with on primary night as well. Hold on, we got more Chelmsford numbers coming in. 108 to 108.
All right.
In one of them. So that still has 1 in parentheses. So we have 3 different Chelmsford numbers that came in, which may be the totality of Chelmsford here. Let me
I'm with you so far.
let me just text my source here. Is that all of Chelmsford? Sorry, folks.
No, you get to watch.
You get to watch it, vote tabulation in real time. So that was 108 in that one. And then the third Chelmsford batch of numbers, 349 Rodney Elliott, 335 Carla Miller. So Carla Miller competitive, breaking even in one of them, 108, coming within 14 votes in another one in Chelmsford. I believe Chelmsford is kind of her home base right now, though. And then losing 197.50. So she did far better in Chelmsford than she did in the Greenhalge and one part of the McAvenue that we don't know about. But the common denominator there is she's still losing. So
Do it, Teddy.
Asa, do we do it?
Do it.
All right. Inside Lowell, election team is ready to call the 16th Middlesex State Rep race. Rodney Elliott will defeat Carla Miller and become the next state representative, replacing Tom Golden, who stepped down at the end of April to become the Lowell city manager. So quite a year, quite a calendar year for Rodney Elliott. A tough,
a roller coaster.
hard-fought, acrimonious campaign against Dan Rourke, two incumbent at-large Lowell city councilors forced to run against each other for the Pawtucketville seat.
I think it was
Dan Rourke
about 200
ended
vote
up winning
difference,
by a couple
essentially.
hundred votes. I know
A little bit less.
I know then Councillor Elliott speaking very disappointed. He just, worked hard, didn't succeed there. Lo and behold, 1 year later, does he have a better seat, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure he does.
More pay.
Seems like he came out on top. Congratulations.
You can actually
He has
almost,
to give up the Lowell Housing Authority gig, I think.
That's okay.
But he's now your state rep. Here's the irony. After that hard-fought campaign, he and Dan Rourke
Oh, yeah.
side by side
Bring home the bacon, boys.
on
Let's go.
Pawtucketville and Lowell issues, and he now will work side by side with city manager Tom Golden as well.
And he takes his cousin's old job.
Oh, and we have the other McAvenue numbers.
Kind of an odd, vicious circle there.
All right, here are the other McAvenue numbers.
Well, the best, ain't it?
Another bloodbath there for in the state rep. 384 for Rodney Elliott, 174 for Carla Miller in the second McAvenue one. So now we have both sets of
All right, so
McAvenue, both sets of Greenhalgh, and we have three sets of Chelmsford. All we're waiting on now is the Pawtucketville Memorial School, but we have called that race, and I think we can safely do it. Asa, you going to do some quick math for me here?
Looks like you two are
I'll
split.
I will get there in a moment. I just want to say one thing. Before you had that great Rodney Elliott roller coaster ride, you missed one part right before that. I remember being on the air with you in the studio when he came in for his weekly city councilor Wednesday chat you guys did there. Everyone thought he was going to run citywide in that race.
He did declare he was going to run.
And he was, yes. And then there was a switch. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Remember, that was a wild moment in time. It was it George Floyd-ish time? It was a different time back then. But there was even that moment where it's like all of these things lead to Rodney Elliott having a great night tonight, but it's a wild ride to get there. But congratulations to him. Big win.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
I
indeed.
mean, he won Chelmsford by 63 votes total.
Yes.
Yeah. If you can't win your home turf, then you just can't win.
So I've got Asa, I'm going to
Pass it on.
So I've got, this is totaling the first three, and then we need to add these in if you want to put them over on the side.
Gotcha. Those are going to get added in also? After?
All these next four numbers have to be added in, and we'll get you an updated vote count. And then we're also reaching out to Rodney Elliott to see if he wants to call in.
Has anyone called yet? He would be the first one, right? You really should do like a dry run. Like someone should call in here. If you're watching this, someone call in. Teddy wants to talk to you.
You can crack the news to him.
Yeah, right.
Actually, this is going to be pretty good.
Remember, you're the media.
So I have
a
one
win
more
till we say you won.
You're the guy.
So those numbers that we thought were McAvenue, but were Greenhalgh, actually turned out to be the Robinson numbers.
You sure you want me to count these numbers?
The numbers
Teddy,
are accurate.
he doesn't need to know any of this.
This isn't the Blue Shamrock.
Tell him he's a winner.
No, the numbers are accurate because we are seeing the actual printout. So all the numbers we are reporting are actual printouts.
Where they came from doesn't
Where
matter.
they came from is where there seems to be a little bit of confusion. But what I have right now is 2,515 for Rodney Elliott, 1,490 for Carla Miller. So that is that what you're getting for math over there as well?
Starting.
And I'm looking at a spreadsheet that somebody has thrown together here that I would assume kind of summarizes them. But 2515, Ace is doing some quick math on his side. What I'm trying to do is get the percentages here because we have.
You're ahead of me. How about you do that now?
We have this
About
shot board over there.
62.5%, roughly.
14.
Oh, really?
That's an estimate.
62 and a half?
You want to give me the real numbers.
So 4,005 votes
we could
so
have-
far.
Attention class, if you could all look at the board. What'd you say, hon?
We got the board. up there.
62%, you said?
So if
Just
we
call
do
it, freeze it right there.
Carla Miller, 1490
gonna be
divided by 4,005
rounded up to
equals
63%.
37.
It's going to be rounded up to 63%.
63.37 is the gap we have right now, but still to come are
Can I call it for myself for the board?
some Pawtucketville numbers. No,
Oh, come on.
no, because
You could get a bump in Pawtucket.
we still have a set of Pawtucketville numbers coming. I think we're going. I'll tell you what. Right now, I would take the over on the 65.
You think we'll have another missing box situation?
I don't think the missing box.
I had to go there.
Don't answer that call.
Yeah, I had to go there, didn't you? So, anyway, you are listening to Inside Lowell's live election night podcast. We're going to go till 10 o'clock. Do you realize we have filled 2 hours?
Nice.
So I'm looking at our running
Doesn't
clock
feel
here.
that long.
Yeah, in many ways, I'm sure for some members of the audience, it feels like a lot longer. But
Are people still commenting? Like, there's people still?
yeah, we're still getting comments. People are watching. People are listening here, and
Nice.
they still have not posted from Pawtucketville Memorial. Let me see. You know what? You guys talk amongst
That'll
yourself.
be,
I'm gonna do some
that's
texting
going to be
here.
the biggest one of them all, too. So whatever the number is, like, it's going to get, you're right, it's going to get closer to 70%. If Pawtucket Memorial.
Probably Teddy will probably hit right around 65 the way it's looking. Because
I still say over 65.
yeah, those Lowell were basically 2-1, so they're pretty consistent too. Actually,
I'm not going to lie. I just keep thinking about Callie doing the show with the Gettysburg map up there. It's going to be so great. He's just thrown me off.
Can we get a Gettysburg map?
I mean, I don't know what he wants.
said
Does he
and
want
done.
the round top? Does he want Pickett's charge?
let's talk about if the red wave happens here, because I did bet that the Republicans will hit the House
How are your
and the
two-
Senate.
How are your two bets looking?
I laid the -2.
I've been distracted here, but doing a local.
Well, I figured Arizona. I'm not going to know
calculations.
for a while, right?
Arizona might be tomorrow. Like, they legitimately had like
Yeah, I'm not staying up for that.
120,000 votes they couldn't count.
And then I have the Oz ticket, which they're going to stretch that to Friday. So I'm not in any hurry to see what happens with that. So I'll just ride it out. And
You literally bet.
yeah,
Isn't it illegal in America?
Yeah,
you have to go to a London book.
I warned you about this. Yes, yeah, he was overseas a couple days ago.
yeah, well, yeah.
Well, there's offshore gambling.
Oh, it's definitely offshore.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah, because you can't get these.
Yeah.
You can't get American election odds in America.
No,
You
I
have
didn't
to
like
go
walk into Encore the
offshore.
other day and pop it. No.
Here's one for you. Georgia, 42% in. Brian Kemp, 49%. Stacey Abrams, 49%.
Ooh, with how much in?
42%.
Wow, that they had kind of written that one off. Stacey Abrams
truly-
was already calling suppression.
I don't understand that race.
I didn't hear you say incumbent Stacey Abrams.
But
Election denier Stacey Abrams.
I'm saying, does that race make a ton of sense to you? Are you going to raw numbers right now? Can we have
No, you're
okay.
So what do you mean that the race
Stop me
doesn't
at any
make
time.
sense?
Well, you'd think they go hand in hand. You've got the governor race and you got the Senate race. You got Herschel Walker, essentially, and Brian Kemp. They're the Republican team.
Yep.
And then you got Stacey Abrams and Raphael Warnock. Stacey Abrams is legit. Like, what she did to Trump in that election, and what she to get out the vote, I don't know how she did it. She feels a little.
Do you want me to answer that?
Feels a little Mayor Daley-ish, but hey, you give her credit. She's a killer when it comes to getting people out to vote. She turns Georgia blue, but it looks like Kemp is going to kind of
Smash her.
beat her. But then the Herschel Walker race is a toss-up. Like, I think it would be the opposite. Kemp is a dope. Have you remember him during COVID?
That's why I don't believe.
And
it's
he's not a
toss
dope.
up the Walker Warnock.
He was on dope because remember Georgia, everyone's going to die because of COVID. I'm not saying that he was right to do nothing, but do you remember like the first couple of weeks, he said something so moronic, like, "Oh, you can catch COVID from another person." That's he said something so outrageous. I'm like, how on earth is that guy a governor? And then he decided to do nothing about COVID, and I said, all right, he's my favorite governor now.
Well, Stacey Abrams also showed up at the school and made all the kids masks.
Oh, that picture will live
with
forever.
no mask.
It's a whole classroom full of kids
Classic.
with masks on, and she's just sitting there smiling.
Very AOC-esque.
It's amazing. You know what? We saw some of those tweets today. Teddy, I'm going to find one for you. Just
While
we
you're
can all
on that,
go
by the way, I
in
think
the throwback
that
machine.
Stacey Abrams has no substance, by the way, and I think that the people of Georgia kind of caught on. That She just wasn't what she
You think
was
Dr.
told.
Oz has substance?
Am I promoting Dr. Oz?
You bet on him.
I'm going against Fetterman.
No,
Really?
but so there is a dynamic there. You can only lose so many elections. It's tough to lose. Now, Charlie Baker lost to Deval Patrick.
Yeah.
And it was a close race. You get a second chance at the apple, but usually you lose that second
Yeah,
race.
oh, yeah.
You're done.
Well, the money dries up.
It's
The
hard.
money's not
And
coming your way.
that's why it's amazing to me that the Democrats keep, sending, little Robbie Rourke.
Yeah, he's done.
To-
After tonight, he's
get
done.
a trouncing in
Stacey
Texas.
Abrams is skilled, though. I'm saying I would put her as in charge of the DNC. There's something there. She's got.
Well, Beto seems to think that if you outlaw guns, that you're going to win an election in Texas, which is an interesting take.
So we do have Herschel Walker just took the lead in Georgia from one report. I think some of these you'll see start to bounce back and forth, and then you start to get into the, well, where are the votes?
That's great. That's the best part of the night.
That's why we need one of those little boards for you, Asa, instead of the whiteboard.
No,
we need you to be able to say, well, we're still waiting for votes from. Look, we do it well here in Lowell. We can tell you we're still waiting for votes from the
That's true.
from the Pawtucketville Memorial
which will be
School,
Rodney's
right?
biggest vote tally.
Yeah. So that's
All
why
right,
I'm
we do
so
it.
confident in
All right, I'll do it for Lowell.
in
Nothing
my
else.
prediction. You need to do that for Lowell.
If you
my
want me to
friend.
do like Fulton County in Georgia, so
I will guarantee
Never
you
been there.
Fulton County's votes will still be outstanding by about 3 a.m. They always hold one back.
the question isn't how many votes you got. How many you need?
Well,
Actually, you know what? Trump is just as guilty. Hey, man, I don't
Of
care.
course.
Just find me 8,000
of
votes.
course, that's you do what you have to do.
Wheel in that batch from the storage closet.
Where do you find the votes? Well, you gotta make sure you have a few supporters vote by mail.
Yeah.
So is Trump? We're not going to get into a whole Trump thing, but yes or no? Do you think he's going to announce next week?
Next week.
Next week?
He was going to. What I'm told is he was going to announce before, and they.
He seemed like he
said,
wanted to
"Don't
do it yesterday."
Before there was rumors that he was going to do it last.
That was
night. He
essentially
said
like
around.
wearing a white dress to your friend's wedding, right? Like you just don't do that. That's the political version of that.
That's a great analogy.
That's pretty much what it is. Here's the question. It's out there now. He's going to, in 6 days, he's going to announce. Will he get indicted before then? There seems to be a race going on here. And if you heard the feds, they were talking about Hunter Biden when they said, hey, we learned a lesson with Hillary about putting information out there about investigations or possible indictments right before elections. We don't want to do that anymore. And at the time, they were talking about Hunter Biden, but I took it as talking about Trump, too. If Trump announces he's running and then they indict him, it looks far more political than them indicting him and then he announces he's running. So it seems like there might be a race on there. Just throwing it out there. Here, want a prediction? Off the wall prediction?
Go for it.
Trump and Hunter Biden will both be indicted within 48 hours of each other.
And neither one will be convicted.
No, they're good. I mean, well, listen, Hunter can drag it out and then his father's going to pardon him anyways, right? So, for sure. His father's senile and he's president.
If he can make it that
It's
long.
the greatest thing ever. And the only person better at giving you a pardon would probably be Trump. But Hunter will be indicted 48 hours after Trump, and then Hunter will drag it out and get the old Joe Biden pardon. All right? Lock that in.
All right.
And if I'm wrong, delete this video.
You heard it from Asa Stutz.
That's a deep prediction, though. I want credit for that one. That's an off-the-wall one.
I want to know when Fauci gets indicted. That's all I care about.
Tune in next week. I'll tell you.
Now, there's still some disagreement about whether those Chelmsford numbers include the mail-in ballots or not, which, again, as I was
Only help
trying to bring
Rodney Elliott,
results in during the primary on September 8th, doesn't make sense. I don't buy that, by the way. The way mail-in ballots are cast is they're already in.
Yeah.
So you bring them to the appropriate precinct,
Pop 'em in.
and then when you have a down moment in a machine, you just go pop them in. The mail-in votes are usually slid through the machine long before those final late night votes. The evening commuter thing.
You say down moments. You got one of these precincts. It's 108 to 108. That's a lot of down moments. That's not a lot of votes right there.
Does Chelmsford do it differently than the rest of the state? I can't imagine that. And those numbers that came in on primary night turned out to be accurate. They weren't missing the write-in votes. Now, who knows?
Next
But
year,
why would
Chelmsford?
why would you print out a sheet? I'm looking at printouts from Chelmsford.
Yeah, no.
I gotta assume
Why
they're
would
in
you print out a
No,
sheet
if
without
it's-
counting the write-in
If
votes?
it's a printout, it's there.
If it's a printout, those write-in votes are in.
Even if Chumps
so-
waited till 8 o'clock and then just rifled them all in once you locked the door, let's say, how long is it going to take to put all those mail-ins in? Let's say it was 100 votes.
A lot of them do that, but it's like, just do it right when
gonna
you
take
walk in.
4
Come
minutes?
in 5 minutes earlier and just dump them all in. Remember Lowell High? I think that was their central place for Lowell for a period of time, wasn't it? So you'd have this random spike. People like, oh, I voted at Lowell High, which never had big vote totals. And it jumps by like 150. Everyone's like, whoa, what just happened? And it's like, oh, the city just dumped a whole bunch. I remember, don't quote me on that, but do you remember that happening? I remember being on the air with you when that happened. The city would take one spot, but then they started dishing them out to all the actual neighborhoods.
Yes.
But there was a period of time where they would do them at all, whatever, like 10 in the morning.
I mean, yeah, you would
You
think
think
that
Chumps would have to have done
you
it.
would think you just keep one machine at City Town Hall and just feed
that seems to make the most sense.
throughout the day, right?
You can have like a separate mail-in category, you know?
But I guess you have to report the results by precinct, though, so that it makes sense that you do it that way, right? Because people want to know in their precincts how things turned out. But either way, it's you're speak English, Teddy. You're splitting them up between in Chelms or 3 precincts in Lowell. It would be 8 different locations. 2 in Pawtucketville, 2 in Centerville.
Actually, putting
So
him-
it makes the count even faster. Kind of the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, putting him in the precinct box seems to make sense. If you're like collecting data, let's say you're going to run for office and you want to like focus on certain areas, then that makes sense. You know, having a better idea of who votes, how they voted, trends, and all that good stuff. The data does have value. So that would make sense.
It's important to the future candidates.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's let's look at our clock here. It says 9:10. 9:10. Woo, we're getting a stupid time. It says 9:10 on my phone, which means you're probably listening to this at 9:11 if you're watching on our website through the YouTube channel. Again, there's a 60-second delay. But time to remind you that you are watching Inside Lowell's live election night coverage here in the Mill City of Lowell, and we're talking about Bay State, New England, and national results as well. It's our inaugural election night broadcast. I'm joined by the Stutz brothers, Asa and Han. By the way, pretty impressive. We got 3 camels in the studio. Not one of us has had to take a bathroom break, despite all the water
It's amazing.
we're drinking. This is really good.
It's got a hot here.
I picked
is
the
good
right
on, yeah.
people to come in here, but I wanna thank you for joining us, whether you're watching us live or if you're watching this broadcast on tape, just because you want to see how brilliant we are in our election coverage and to learn to follow us in the future. I also want to thank our sponsors. You've been seeing their names kind of popping up on the side of that screen or at the bottom of that screen. Different sponsors up there. We're giving them some love for showing us support. These sponsors came aboard really before we even had a website to show them, just going on name, reputation, and some crazy social media, anonymous social media postings at the end of the summer. But I want to thank all of them for helping bring tonight's broadcast to you, for helping bring Inside Lowell to you. And we look forward to growing the family with future sponsors as well. Thank you to Spectacle Live, the Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce, IBEW 2321, which holds the distinction of being the first sponsor to hop aboard here and actually send us a check. Real Estate Ray Booten, you came in a close second in that race. It was literally hours apart, but Lee Gitchier and our friends at IBEW 2321, Real Estate Ray Booten, a lot of what we've been able to build, these video cameras that are bringing you this instead of just audio podcasts, this is because of you guys showing your faith in me, showing your faith in this community and this venture early on, and I thank you for that. Mike Colley, Lowell Lock and Key, always there supporting me. Stellar Web Studios, which designed our website, InsideLowell.com, and has offered guidance on how to interconnect everything as well. Thank you. The Mill City Festival Fund, bringing you a number of great events in Lowell, including City of Lights 2022, November 26th, which, by the way, we are going to try to broadcast live. I am the MC once again for that event. I'll be joined by a fellow insider, Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce President Danielle McFadden. She's going to be my co-MC this year. I'm excited about that. And Inside Lowell is going to broadcast live from the reviewing stand if we can get some technical things worked out, which we're optimistic we will be able to do. So thank you to the Mill City Festival Fund. Thank you to architect Phil Tebow from Drake-It, getting aboard, supporting Inside Lowell and Inside Drake-It, with Dan Phelps contributing his content there. Unitas, a community center for Lowell's Hispanic community and the entire community. They've had some great shows there and a number of great events coming up. Our friend Rod Gregoire at Merrimack Valley Wi-Fi Pros, who helped set our studio and our office up with the Wi-Fi and the internet connections that we need. The Stones Hospitality Group, Cobblestones in Lowell, Moonstones in Chelmsford, and Stone Social in Asa's hometown of Nashua. Well, his hometown is Lowell. You're living now though in Nashua, right?
For now, yes.
All right, there you go. They joined our list of sponsors yesterday. We don't have their logo up yet, but we will get it up there for you as well on future podcasts. And Christopher's Towing of Lowell, of Chelmsford, our newest sponsor, but they do have a lot of accounts and they do towing in Lowell as well. They joined us this morning, got us their logo, and so you will see that as part of the rotation. Thank you to all of you for making all of this possible. We look forward to growing our family. If you would like to become a sponsor of Inside Lowell on the website, on our podcast, through our social media, shoot me an email, teddypanos@insidelowell.com, or just sales@insidelowell.com. And with that, we turn back.
You good?
To the Stutz brothers.
You are such a professional.
I've seen you. You like that? You like the little chair turn there? That's a little
all of it.
You've got the camera shot here, and then you turn there. I've sat on an anchor disc once or twice.
Impressive. All right, you're not going to like this.
Talk to me. What do we got?
Ilhan Omar reelected.
Sure, there's a shock.
This one you weirdly will like. AOC reelected. I know you.
I'm gonna tell you. She's a Marxist. I agree with nothing she says, but I like her. She takes on the establishment, and that means something to me. Too many people just fall in line like sheep. AOC is not a sheep. I'm
no,
okay
she's not.
with that.
Except for the Ukraine thing. But besides that, yes, she stands up. And you know what? You're really going to see her stand up when Nancy Pelosi steps down, or is forced into retirement. Yeah, careful with the wording here. Sensitive.
Hammered out the door.
No.
So here's what's fascinating to me. We have been alternatingly watching our Twitter feeds and our usual things. It's 9:15. It's 9:15 on election night. You usually have predictions, and I know we can't watch CNN here in our studios or Fox, but usually by this point, you're getting stuff on Twitter. You're getting stuff on social media that's telling you what's happening.
Well, exit polling used to be pretty reliable, right? You used to be that 3% margin of error used to be pretty much money in the bank. With mail-in balloting, what good is exit polling these days?
Dead silent.
It really doesn't tell you anything.
You're right. It is.
Here's your CNN Twitter feed for right now at CNN Breaking News. Well, they projected Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the Republican daughter of former Governor Huckabee, to win that seat in Arkansas.
Mike Huckabee.
I
was digging for that one.
And they're projecting Senator Rand Paul will win re-election in Kentucky. That's their two political posts. That's their two election updates. They
must have called DeSantis and Rubio too, right?
I don't see it. They must be killing them to type. Actually, I'm sorry. Yes, they did project Marco Rubio and they did project Ron DeSantis. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But
you're right. There should be 50, 100 by now.
Talk to me about a bellwether race. Talk to me about one that we don't know about. What's happening with Maggie Hassan in
very quiet New Hampshire? I'm
very
going looking.
So you know what you need to do? You need to go to WMUR.
You read
one
my
of
mind.
you two Stutz brothers. In the meantime, let me go back to my phone here. Still kind of a status quo situation here in the Rodney Elliott Carla Miller race. We're still waiting on the Pawtuckettville Memorial School. I believe we're also still waiting on Greenhalge, because that we were told was Robinson. Let me just change that on my sheet here. So still waiting for a couple of different things to come in. Pawtucket Memorial and Greenhalge to come in. But right now, our unofficial, let me repeat that, unofficial tally has Rodney Elliott with 2,515 votes. Carla Miller with 1,490 votes, breakdown of about 37%,
Yep.
if you want to look at it. And we still got the largest voting location, the Pawtucketville Memorial School in Rodney Elliott's home district. So I feel very safe
Pretty
in,
good, yeah. He's
projecting the
pretty
victory here.
consistently 2-1 in Lowell. So
Chris Sununu reelected. Here's a call.
So we've got a projection there.
Yep.
Chris Sununu reelected.
Sununu.
Do we have any actual
Fourth
numbers
term.
in New Hampshire, though?
I'm seeing a lot of raw numbers, like the town of Middleton, New Hampshire. Bolduc 514, Hassan 279. Levitt 523, Pappas 283. So it's a small, very small conservative town.
What are those numbers?
This is for Middleton. I know New Hampshire very well. I don't know where Middleton, New Hampshire is.
around 2-1.
Bolduc 514, Hassan 279, Levitt 523, Pappas 283. So, you've got little bits and pieces. East Kingston, New Hampshire. Bolduc 715, Hassan 668, Levitt 720, Pappas 674.
Now your secret. We don't want to give away your secret site, right? Because
This is not the secret site, yes. But,
Do they have? They're usually pretty good.
all right, let me go back.
What do we have? We don't want to say who they are, right?
No.
Because then we'll flood them and.
Unless they're a sponsor, Teddy, in which case.
Oh well, yeah. If you do want to sponsor Inside Lowell,
There you go. Here's a good
we are
update for
more
them.
than happy.
This is with 62% of Georgia in. Raphael Warnock, 51%. Herschel Walker, about 47.
With how much in?
62%.
So Warnock 51-47.
And remember, Warnock has to stay above 50 or you get a runoff.
Correct.
49.99 is not good enough. It's got to be 50. And actually, it's relevant. Chase Oliver is the Libertarian candidate at 1.77%. So that
Polling at almost 2% there.
that is almost certainly going to make it a runoff. If that Libertarian hangs at 2%, if it drifts down to one Warnock or Herschel could win it. If it stays at 2%, I don't think either one can get to 50%, and you're going to get, and that could be the fate of the Senate decided in 4 weeks. That's my chaos theory. It's in play.
I had gotten a look at the North Carolina Senate race earlier, and for most of the night, Sherry Beasley, the Democrat, was comfortably ahead in the beginning, but everyone expected that to close with 66% in. Ted Budd, the Republican, has now passed Sherry Beasley, 49.14 to 48.98. That's kind of a replay of what happened in at the 2020 election as well, both in the presidential race and also in the Senate race there. I believe it's Tillman, is it? Till, it was something like that out in North Carolina, where the Republicans ended up winning both the presidential race and the Senate race there.
You're right. A couple weeks ago, this race seemed much closer, and Bud just seemed to.
And now Bud seems to be 5 or 6 points ahead. It's certainly trending in that direction. We also have our first votes here in the Pennsylvania Senate race. All right, well, first votes 84-15 Fetterman. That was with I
didn't even read that.
The first votes. Now we're at 9%. At 9%, it was 76% Fetterman, 22 Oz. So there you have there. There is a projection. The Republicans hold a seat in Arizona. House District 9 in Arizona, Paul Gosser, the projected winner, and that is a hold for the Republicans. Whether that was one that was in doubt or not, I can't really tell you, but there's the AOC news, there's the Ilhan Omar news. Chuck Schumer, no surprise, holds on to his seat. Will he hold on to the presidency of the Senate?
Big night for him.
Big night for him, indeed. Let's see, where are we here?
Hochul's running 72-29 currently.
Kathy Hochul,
Yeah.
Governor Hochul out there in New York.
We'll see how
But,
that one.
but
it's
again,
still too early, right?
But 9:22 now on my clock.
yeah,
Folks, you're supposed to get faster
yeah.
counting votes. It's slower now.
Oh yeah, you should.
What?
Why do you need more than an hour? What could possibly happen?
It's a computer. It tabulates. Doesn't matter how many pieces of paper are in there from 7 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, or were early votes, or you run them all through, and it should tabulate. pretty quickly.
It's slow everywhere. I'm looking at
Exactly.
just the statewide races in Massachusetts. We've got Lowell done, nailed, signed, sealed, delivered. There's nothing besides Healy winning.
Yeah. The Whitmer race is currently 52-45, so that one's looking tight early.
Governor Whitmer,
Yeah,
Whitmer
Michigan.
in Michigan. That's when the Republicans think they have a chance to steal. And again, that's one of those that'll tell you whether it's a red wave or a bloodbath, as I like to call it. She was very controversial, very strict in her COVID lockdowns. Remember the plot to kidnap her?
I'm not a Republican, but I really want her to lose. I'm just going to remember
You still have not forgiven they asked for forgiveness over
No.
Can you forgive them?
No.
Do you remember what she did?
Hard no.
You couldn't buy plants or seeds to grow food.
I remember.
You could go and buy tequila and Bud Light and anything else you wanted at Walmart, but you couldn't buy seeds and plants to grow your own garden. No, we can't. That happened in America like 2 years ago. That
She
wasn't
should
a
be
weird dream.
forcibly removed from office for that.
Well, whoa, now you sound like the kidnap people.
No. That's fine.
We already went through this. The FBI didn't like it the first time.
By the way, our Fox News watcher out there, the Cali Llama, says Fox News just called Texas for Governor Abbott.
Oh, Beto.
Adios to Robert Francis O'Rourke. Governor Abbott.
It's not adios. It's how do you say goodbye in Gaelic? You know what I mean? Give him a good.
You just leave.
What
Quiet.
are those limericks they always say when someone dies? May the road less traveled.
That's a good question. But
May the windows be at your back.
adios to Robert Francis O'Rourke. Don't let the door hit you in the ass.
Moving back to Dublin,
yeah.
back to the old country.
Friend. Let's see here. We've got some more results. Cameron Mooresberger of the Lowell Sun is tweeting that Representative Lori Trahan announces that she has beat Dean Tran in every board in his hometown of Fitchburg. Results are still slow going. So at least we're getting some numbers there from the Lowell Sun, Cameron Mooresberger.
All right, so that was from
this is from the Trahan camp,
But
that they
he-
beat Dean Tran in every board in his hometown of Fitchburg. I see you guys pointing at your phone.
Oh, no. I was.
Should I ring the bell? Do we have something?
No, I was telling them to turn the volume down. That's what down meant.
Right, can you hear it? I can't hear it.
No, you have headphones on. You couldn't hear the loud. There's a heavy metal band playing next door. You couldn't even hear it.
All right, let's go back to the phone here.
Well, either way, with what you said for Lori Trahan, that's obviously a really good sign.
So with more votes coming in Pennsylvania, we're now up to 15%. Fetterman is at 61.6. Oz at 36.1. Again, this kind of following the path of 2020 election where Biden led early, Trump took the lead.
So we tried guessing last time too. Is it early votings or is it
And then
inner
just
city?
shenanigans took place.
Is
Yeah,
it
after
cities
midnight
coming in
voting.
early or is it early voting?
Good question.
It's got to be early voting.
Good question. Let's see if we have any other races here on the phone. This is Hassan and Bolduc. We're tightening up a little bit, 59 to 39 in the Hassan Bolduc. Oh, that was just 16% reporting. You actually updated that, didn't you?
At 28%, it was 41-58.
Okay, so we're seeing a little tightening in New Hampshire as well. The results very slow to come in. I do have some results from Lowell, and I am told these are the green.
Oh, here goes Teddy with the
Let's
green
forget
house again.
location, but I can tell you it's a different place. Once again, Edward Kennedy, a lot of blanks in that race. 343 to 1 for Ed Kennedy. And 114 blanks, 23 write-ins. In the race that we're looking at, though, Rodney Elliott, 303. Carla Miller, 151.
Oh, these double ups are amazing.
Double
Really,
up in
2 to
Lowell.
1 all day long.
Double up.
Now there is a little bit of a little blotch on this, but the second one, from what we believe is the green Helch, 393 for Rodney Elliott. What I believe is 164. The bottom of that is kind of run out there. So 393, 164 is the best.
That's a big
I can
blow. That's a
see
big
there.
blowout there.
But and by the way, we were kind of picking on Senator Ed Kennedy there for the number of blanks and write-ins. This appears to be something down the ballot as well, because in the same slip, Marion Ryan The DA for Middlesex County, 442 votes, less than Ed Kennedy, 128 blanks, 13 more than.
Are you getting the auditors or anything else in those numbers?
I am not seeing any auditors races.
Oh, it's too bad. Sometimes when they send the pictures, they send you the whole slate, essentially.
So it does appear that the Republicans are at least leaving their ballots blank in their little races, doing their part. But the Cali Lama giving me a website to follow the Pennsylvania results. They even give you the numbers for.
Yeah, it's called Inside Lowell. We follow them and you follow us.
That's right, Cali. Yeah, so it looks like it's about 61 to 37 right now in the Fetterman Oz race with. I don't see a percentage there, but okay. So there's your results. There's your results there. We can kind of see things kind of getting closer in some of the races nationally. Still, we can't definitively say whether we've got. Hell, we can't even definitively say the Republicans are going to. In the House, Senate, whatever. Certainly can't say there's a wave. Or
all the Democrats have big leads early.
Yeah.
And again, maybe that's because it's mail-in. It's the only thing that makes sense for all of them to be up big. You got Warnock is up big. Well, he's up slightly now, but it was big. Fetterman was up big. Hassan up big. None of us think that's going to hold. So I'm gonna say for sure that it's mail-ins.
All right. Let's. You guys, I'm going to turn this over to you. I'm going to run downstairs and let.
You want me to get him?
Do you want to? Yeah,
yes, I'd like to go get him.
You'd like to get.
I got to go pay the meter. Talk amongst yourselves.
Jack Mitchell will be arriving shortly to join our election night team. We want to thank Asa Stutz, who's still here. Hans Stutz.
Holding it down
and holding it in. You have no bathroom breaks for either of you. Although I think Asa's going to escape for one. Let me just tell Jack here that Asa is coming to let you in. I also have some more results here from the Chelmsford. These are some, are these mail-in votes in Chelmsford? Some of the Chelmsford mail-ins. So I guess they do print them out differently. Mail-in Precinct 1. So 306 for Rodney Elliott, 96 for Carla Miller.
Okay.
So was it you who theorized the mail-ins are going to come in very strong for Rodney Elliott?
Well, I did not theorize.
Democrats are more likely to vote mail-in, right, than Republicans. And so it was somebody said it on this broadcast. And then the other mail-in 407 to 146. So Chelmsford, while it looked close on the day of voting, not that close right now. Let me see what we have here. So our updated spreadsheet has Rodney Elliott at 3924, Carla Miller at 2,047, almost a 2-to-1 split there. So
it's been pretty consistent.
And still waiting for the Pawtuckettville Memorial.
You and Ace are going to duel it out for the closest prediction of the night.
Yeah, you went.
I'm gone.
Wait, let's go back to that. Let's go back to our whiteboard here. You had the Elliott Miller race. You had 58-42. Asa had 62-38. I had 65-35.
I'm going to concede defeat on my end.
You're going to concede this one. So now it's just.
If we were playing blackjack, I would surrender right now.
It's now just Asa and I. We are still awaiting for results from the Pawtuckettville Memorial School and the Chelmsford Senior Center. Has that come in? It looks like we're still waiting on the Chelmsford Senior Center as well. You are listening to Inside Lowell's election night coverage. I'm Teddy Panos. I'm joined in studio by Hans Stutz, his brother Asa Stutz, going to let in one of our other election analysts and insiders, Jack Mitchell, who watched the tabulation portion of the write-in votes, trying to very slow, painstaking, methodical process, as it should be, with a very confusing process, the write-in votes. He'll be joining us here and tell us what he saw out there in the field and also lend his expertise to what we are doing this evening. Trying to also keep our eye on some other statewide races. Maura Healey will be the next governor of Massachusetts. The margin of victory, we don't know, but that race was basically called right at 8 p.m. this morning. I would imagine most other races go the same. If there is going to be any drama, it's going to be in the auditor's race. Do not see anything yet that would give us any insight into what's happening between State Senator Diana DeZoglio, the favorite in that race, or Anthony Amori, the Republican challenger. Let's see here. What do we have? We have, and this one is in Ohio, 9, the Democratic candidate with 58%, the Republican with 42. I don't know if that's a seat that's there. They have projected Brian Kemp to hold on to that Georgia governor's seat, defeating Stacey Abrams. That's an early projection there. Last time in 2018, the same two people in that race. That was a very close. Election. That really right up until recently, Stacey Abrams had yet to really kind of concede. She got another bite at the apple. It appears that this time she will lose more handily in that race. Does that translate to the Herschel Walker Raphael Warnock race, which polls showed much closer than the Kemp and Abrams race? We shall see. But control of the Senate could hinge on that race, along with the Pennsylvania race and a couple of others. Want to welcome into the studios Jack Mitchell, member of the Pod Squad, an insider. You got your game face on over there.
I do. Yeah.
Smile a little. Come a little closer to that microphone.
It's different. We're not. It's not the same crew.
Yeah, you're used to Michaela being to one side of you and Batch throwing wise ass barbs from the other. Hans Stutz, Jack Mitchell.
I can't compete with Michaela on this one.
Yeah, you can't. Definitely not. You can't compete with the hyphen. All right, you were at the McAvenue School.
I was, yes.
All right. What did you see down there? How was the voting process and the counting process, especially with the write-in votes?
So, when I first got there, it was a little bit early. I got there around 7:40, 7:45. And, as you would expect, it was just sort of the normal flow of people. I mean, it was slow at that time, right? It was pretty much at the end of the voting window. But, people going in, there was the check-in. And then everything looked like you would expect it to look, right? I've been sort of following the Facebook page and some of the comments from, inside Lowell, and people reporting jammed up machines. I didn't see anything like that. And I was over at the senior center earlier today for about 3 hours, and I didn't see any kind of mishaps whatsoever. It was all sort of moving well.
So you spent your day?
Not the whole day, so
you are the kind of geek we like.
That's commitment to the game, right?
That's bravo, Jack Mitchell.
I mean, I talk a lot of crap, I guess, on various channels, and so I try to back up what I do with the work. But I had a nice morning. I took the day off, right, from work, and it was chill with some coffee and the missus, and then I went and voted in the lovely city of Haverhill.
There you go. Now, your T-shirt.
Yes.
I need to turn my microphone on. That's why I turned it off the cuff. Your T-shirt there. I talk more than I listen, but I see a lot.
Yeah.
Your T-shirt in the last podcast actually got a lot of commentary.
Really? The Cheap Trick?
The Cheap Trick T-shirt. Yeah,
really?
Folks were commenting on the Cheap Trick T-shirt.
People like rock and roll, or they think my stuff is down on a Cheap Trick?
Cheap Trick. The race that you were kind of following closely, of course, the state rep race that we're all following. The only drama, really, if you want to call it drama, here in Lowell, it appears by our unofficial vote totals right now. We're still waiting on the Pawtuckettville Memorial School. I think we're still waiting on the Chelmsford Senior Center. I believe we do have McAvenue numbers.
Okay.
552 to 258 in one of them, and 384 to 174 in the other. Does that sound right?
The tape was like kind of illegible for one.
That's what happened.
Although the unofficial results will have, confirm that. But let's see.
But we've got Rodney Elliott at 3924 total so far. Carla Miller at 2047. We have called the race. Inside Lowell has called it for Rodney Elliott. Although I did reach out to him, and he still says, hey, listen, there's still stuff to come in. We're being cautious. We have invited him to call, and as well, we think we have the phone technology down. But any surprises for you in that race? The margin of victory? I don't imagine you're surprised by the victor in that race.
No. I mean, it's there's a heavily blue state, and then city. The city, I think on the national level will kind of shift around. or maybe even at the governor's race. But generally speaking, I think Dems tend to do pretty well, especially in working class neighborhoods like, Pawtuckaville. So it's that's not surprising whatsoever.
We believe we're going to get Rodney Elliott to call in a moment, and hopefully I can figure out the technology without our technical
This should be interesting.
director.
But in terms of the counting, I texted you earlier. I used words like boring and methodical,
As it should be.
very organized. The machines do a certain amount of work. I'll let you pick that up.
All right. We're gonna get back to Jack Mitchell's thoughts, but I believe if all is working here, that we have State Representative-elect Rodney Elliott joining us on the phone lines here. Good morning, good evening. Right? It's hard for me to lose that radio and morning gig, but good evening to you, Representative-elect Elliott. How are you? Can you hear us? Okay. I'm having a hard. Hold on one second here. I'm doing something wrong here and having a hard time hearing you. So let me try to reconnect you there if you don't mind. Technology is a wonderful thing. I thought I had this down pat, but let me connect you again here to our little Roadster device. There we go. Isn't technology great? All right. How about, can we do a sound check now? Are you with us? Are you with us, Rodney Elliott?
I am. Can you hear me?
There we go. Now I can hear you through the headphones, which I believe means our audience can hear you. I'm going to take these headphones off so Hans Stutz and Jack Mitchell are here in studio with us as well. Congratulations to you. Have you exhaled? I know I texted you earlier to see if you wanted to call in. You said you weren't ready to celebrate yet.
Well, I'm still at the Pawtucket Memorial, and of course they're very large. The big voting. Both precincts are pretty big voting precincts, and one of them just came out. One of the machines did break down. One of the larger precincts, and they're still feeding in. Looks like several hundred ballots, but one of the precincts came out, and we did very well there. So I'm exhaling. I'm exhaling a little bit. Yes, exhaling a little bit. Still waiting for 2 more precincts from the Chelmsford Senior Center. However, the mail-in ballots were significant. They've already come in, and there seems to be significant margins in those as well. So I'm feeling very good, and I think the next batch is coming out here, Pawtucket Memorial. So so far so good. I'm feeling very good. Thanks.
Yeah, we actually have some of those results. The first precinct to report at the Pawtuckettville Memorial School has you with 678 votes. Your opponent, Carla Miller, with 340, over 1,000 votes just from that precinct right there. One more to come from the Pawtuckettville Memorial. But it looks like you're gonna win by a handy margin, that kind of 65-35 margin, somewhere between 65 and 70% is what the Democratic state rep and Senate candidates generally will pull. How difficult of a campaign was this for you? A lot of folks said, you could probably exhale after the Democratic primary. You didn't approach it that way, though, did you?
I did not, Teddy. I didn't approach it at all. In fact, I took a little bit of a break because it was a grueling primary, and it was a hot summer, and I knocked every day, almost every day, and that's how I approached it. I think I took a few days off, and just ran some more lists through Vote Builder, and continued to focus on the unenrolled, and I didn't want to take it lightly, like any election. So we just went out and we did it again. I knocked doors, believe it or not, right yesterday. I knocked my last 47 doors. It was getting dark, and as they say, you leave it all on the table, and that's what I did. We mailed, we raised money, we stood out and held signs, and I'm very grateful to all the people that helped me. It's been a long 7+ months, but we had some fun at the same time, and I'm very pleased with the results, because I do feel that I am going to go down and do my best and make a difference, and in those 24 years serving on the city council, we do know at the local level, how to solve and what the problems are and what the issues are, and I know I'm going to use that down there.
I was remiss in asking if you had actually spoken to your opponent, Carla Miller, yet. Have the two of you communicated? Has she called to concede? What's the status of that?
No, I have not. We exchanged numbers this morning here at the Precinct Memorial, and I have not heard from her yet. I'm not sure if she has numbers or I'm the only one. I'm literally, besides myself and 3 poll workers, the only people here at Precinct Memorial, but I've not heard from her yet. No, I have not.
So what's the first order of business for you, other than maybe taking a day or two to relax? When do you get to work? When do you start meetings with House leadership, and you go about the process of forging the relationships that you'll need to be able to bring home some money to your district?
Yeah, I think that's important. And as I said during the campaign, I mean, we're going into some very anxious times for people with heating and electricity. It's definitely the priority number one. Of course, it's a little bit of a different governing body versus the city council, but I do hope tax relief is on the way because people really can use it. And I know there's been, discussions with the fuel assistance reserve fund that needs to be set up, and I think we need to put at ease as much as we can. That there is a surplus, funding is available, and people need it, and they're going to need it soon. But I feel, I'll go to work, tomorrow if possible. I still have my job. However, I got to go back to work tomorrow. I still have a Lowell Housing Authority board meeting tomorrow night, so it'll still have some responsibilities to attend to, but I hope to go to work as soon as possible because it's it's important. We're not going to wait till January 1st by any stretch.
Do you will you be stepping down from the Lowell Housing Authority board?
I have got an opinion from the Ethics Commission. I do not. I have to tell you, in the last 8 months, my knowledge, understanding of public housing and the myriad, and that's the word, the myriad of programs, assistance. I do not want to. I have an opinion that I do not have to, and I'm going to remain on the Lowell Housing Authority and serve out my term.
Okay. Rodney Elliott, again, we projected you the winner of the race, and the numbers have certainly borne that out here. Congratulations to you on a very successful campaign. Tough fought primary. You fought hard in the general election as well. A little less drama tonight than there was on September 8th, though, right?
Yeah, a little less drama on September 8th. Yep, you're absolutely right. But, Zoe Zika, she ran a great campaign. I've said this more than once. She was a formidable candidate her first time out, raised some very good issues. We've talked a couple of times, and I hope to work with her. And she her passion for mental health issues. I do hope to work closely with her and others in the city. So thank you. It was. There was a lot of highs and lows, but we made it, and I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased and grateful to the voters for placing their trust in me once again. I'm not gonna let them down, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So thank you very much today. I appreciate it.
Congratulations. That was Rodney Elliott. Victorious tonight. Still some numbers to count. I turned the volume down. Let me hang up the phone as well, just so.
That was our marquee matchup for us. Lowell, right?
Asa Stutz is back. Jack Mitchell. We've got Hans Stutz off camera. You won't be able to see Hans, but you'll be able to hear his voice.
No, make him go right on the board.
We can see you in camera 4. Look at that.
Yes.
We have a camera 4?
Yeah, we look at we have Jack, look at our new toy, the whiteboard. Now we got Hans' head on top of it here, right. But we actually had Asa go. He drew us a map of Ukraine and some strategic positions.
Kirsan's gonna fall.
But then we did our predictions for the Elliott Miller race there on the board. So see lots of new toys here at Inside Lowell. Phone calls. a fourth camera in the studios? I mean,
I've been a believer since day one,
yeah, yes, you have.
even maybe day zeros.
So anyway, you were talking about the hand counting process.
Yeah, very organized. I mean, there was 2 precincts at McAvenue. You know, each machine. When I got there, they had started already sort of the process of. They had taken some of the ballots out of the machines, and they were sorting them. They had to put them in some sort of order to do the counting, and then they were working on that. That was all observed by Lowell Police. There's a process to ensure that there's no shenanigans, right?
There were no DOJ officials there, but I do believe they went to Salem, Mass, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I can't say they weren't in the city. They weren't at the McAvenue school, right? You know,
Or they weren't in the city on a different matter. Once again, I make Jack Mitchell speechless.
Never be surprised.
People have been trying to do this for a decade. I think we finally found the way to do it. Did you see it? Did you get to see any results in the hand count? Were they announcing them? Were they?
No, I mean,
calculating them?
one of the wardens was physically counting the ballots in front of me, like from me to you away, right? But there's very there's a decorum there, right? So like I'm there to observe and not really interfere or impose in any way, right? So I have a gazillion questions going off in my head, and you have to kind of like watch and sort of see the pattern emerge. And so I was hearing, like you'd hear him, Healy, DeZoglio, right? And then you'd hear, Kelly Richardson here and there, but like there would be no way to really get any sense of results from it, right?
Did you photograph any of those printout sheets that they give? Because we haven't seen any numbers for Otter, the one race. I'm just kind of curious, like what those numbers look like.
Right, so
any hope for Anthony Amori out there? Can I make my editorial comment
We
here?
haven't heard a single word. I've checked the NECN. I've checked the Globe. Like, I don't.
WCVB or anybody reporting
I'll
anything?
go fishing again here, but it's slow. Very slow.
You'd almost think that it's like an intentional effort to not report numbers.
Well, this is the.
I mean, what are we
democracy
doing
dies,
here?
right? This is our last day of democracy. We should at least try.
They have numbers. Report what you have. What's the big secret? You know what election nights are like. It's 9:50 right now. Why aren't we getting results? By the way, I will tell you one result. We talked about is it a red wave? Is it a bloodbath? Is it a disappointment for Republicans? One seat they hoped to pick up, at least as of a couple of months ago, was in Rhode Island. They will not pick up that congressional seat.
That was a deep one.
Right now, this was the Fung, the Republican candidate there was Fung. Alan Fung. He came close. He's at about 47%. Seth Magaziner, the Democrat, is at 50.63. That's going to be a Democratic hold. And there is a flip in a gubernatorial race. The Democrats have picked up the governor of Maryland. That was
Larry Hogan.
Larry Hogan, or was
He's one of those.
Wes Moore is now the.
Wes Moore is projected to become the next governor of Maryland, which is a flip for the Democrats. I know they were nervous about losing a couple of seats out in maybe in Michigan or maybe in New York. There was thought to be potentially drama there, but they actually pick one up here. So
that's a technicality, though, right? Like there's some Republicans that wouldn't even consider the Republican governor of Maryland to actually be a Republican.
Right.
He's Charlie Baker, light.
Right.
He's he's actually a little bit heavier, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, he's a lot heavier than Charlie Baker.
So you asked about Amori.
Yeah. Did you see any Amori
1-2
results? Yep.
The results are Amore 289 to DeZoglio 442.
Okay, so closer than a Democrat-Republican should be, but still.
A bigger update. Here you go from one of our great sources. This is with 25% in. Well, The same sheet says 11% of the votes counted. AP estimates that 25% of the votes have been counted. That's conflicting. But either way, Diana DeZoglio, 177,000 votes. Amori, 123,000. So that translates to about 55-38.
So a little drama. Jeff Thomas also texting in auditor numbers with 14%, DeZoglio 14% of the vote in, DeZoglio 54%, Amori 38%.
Okay,
So again, we talked about moral victories. Is that a moral victory for the Republicans that they were able to
not in that race
to get within 60?
They were. That was the one
they really think they were going to. I mean, if you put them under sodium pentothal, could you get a Republican to tell you they really thought they could win that race? Jack is smirking over here.
People will convince themselves of anything.
I'm not really sure where I'm supposed to go here with these things. Like, I don't want to just
go crazy.
I don't just want to bag on Republicans, but this just so horrible.
I was doing it earlier. The Massachusetts Republicans deserve to get bagged on. They're an embarrassment. And hopefully tonight is the end of the Lyons as party chair experiment, and they can find somebody that can try to unite the Trump wing, the Baker wing, and just realize, you know what, we're in Massachusetts.
So you blame that on Lyons and his chairmanship and not sort of the radicalism of the Trump Republicans versus sort of what you like to call establishments?
Is there a difference between Lyons and the radical Trump wing of the Republican Party?
Well, because what you said was someone that could bridge sort of Trumpism to Bakerism, right? And the question is, like, should Trumpism be bridged, or should it just be sort of extracted?
It needs to be. If you're going to succeed as a Republican, you need to know what kind of bridge to create. In Florida, that bridge is different than in Massachusetts. You have to know how to kind of not alienate the Trumpers while also appealing to the centrist part of it. You cannot survive as a party in Massachusetts with that split. I think we're seeing that tonight.
It'll be interesting to see because, like, my experience with Republicans as a minority party is that they effectively, to be harsh about it, sell out to Democrats, right? So they want to have access. They want to be involved in the money game. So they come with their hat in their hand and effectively sell out to Democrats. Trump Republicans are not interested in anything like that. They're not interested in playing well with others. They're usurpers that want, or, dare I say, insurrection.
Here we go.
But, like, let's just stay away from the Capitol building, right? There's an insurrection within their party, right? So why would they have any interest in dealing with the rhinos that want to play, nice with the machine Democrats?
Because there aren't enough of you in Massachusetts. It's common. So do you want to win the war, or do you want to just stand on your principle?
Why not join the Free Staters up in New Hampshire and just go?
Well, many have. That's another one of their problems
up there.
Is they've all.
I love New Hampshire.
They're all kind of taking off, which makes it even worse. What's the Lowell number? 5 for every one registered Republican in Lowell. It's 5 Democrats. So how do you think you're going to win an election by feuding amongst yourselves?
Way more unenrolled people, but unenrolled people generally break one way or another. It's kind of a I'm technically unenrolled, right?
So am I.
I voted for Brad Jones out of North Reading because we graduated high school together. Like, how am I not going to vote for a kid I went to high school with? He's not a terrible guy,
Is he a Republican?
He is, yeah.
Nice.
Slightly less than terrible, John.
Slightly less than terrible, but
winning 66, you've got to win almost 2/3 of the independents, or at least get to 60% of the independents to win as a Republican in Massachusetts. Or you have to have such crossover appeal like Charlie Baker, that it doesn't matter. But those are not sustainable numbers, because when the Democrats want to put their foot down in Massachusetts and get behind a candidate that's not a horrible candidate, they can and they will win. So the Republicans have to find a way to grow their party and to kind of keep some semblance of relevance until they grow their party.
I'm just not sure that Trump Republicans have any interest in playing well with the establishment Republicans, right? And I don't even know if establishment Republicans have to concede anything to Trump Republicans, because they're so rote in sort of their thought process, right? They think, okay, I've got to vote. They don't concern themselves with the lesser of two evils. They vote Republican because that's how they're gonna get whatever. What are those governor? Well, we elect council race. Like, how are they gonna use the governor to affect things, right? And that's how they're gonna always vote Republican. They're not even gonna think about anything else.
But what you said, I wholeheartedly disagree with it. You said why would centrist Republicans want to make good with the Trump Republicans? The Republican Party is Donald Trump's party. We're seeing this across the country. You saw it in the primaries. You may see, and it got to the point where some Democrats were voting and funding Republicans that were Trump Republicans, thinking it'd be an easier general election draw, and that's not working. Well, we'll find out in Arizona and Nevada,
works, right.
But it may not work as well as the Democrats hope. So if you're the Republicans, you must figure out a way to embrace the Trump Republicans without necessarily embracing Trump. One way or another, he's got one more run in him, one more presidency, but then he's gone. For the Republican Party to survive long term, the people that think like that, whether it's small government, anti-establishment, label it any way you want, the Republican Party has to find a way. You want to go the Liz Cheney route? You're done. You're toast. And that's clearly evident. You will not survive as a Republican across the country going against Donald Trump. And ask Jeff Deal, you won't survive in Massachusetts either. You have to find a way to massage that to not seem as scary as Donald Trump does to certain independents.
And you've got 4 days, maybe 5, because Trump's going to announce in 5 or 6 days. So your little Republican Massachusetts postmortem political autopsy of tonight. Once Trump announces, everything changes, and then he's going to get indicted. And you're going to have the most polarizing politician in the history of America running for president under indictment. And everything we've seen so far is just a cakewalk because the madness is coming back, and it's coming back full steam ahead.
Indicted where? New York or D.C.? What are we talking about?
I don't know. The feds are raided Mar-a-Lago, right?
Okay. Well,
Mostly New York.
I figured it would come from New York myself.
And again, it doesn't mean he's going to jail, or it doesn't even mean he even did something wrong. But that's coming. And it's going to take a crazy situation and pour gas on it. So all the little debates you guys are talking about that are important, it's not going to matter. It's going to be Trump, Trump, Trump. And DeSantis will sit there and wait and just say, hey, if this indictment is legit and it's got teeth and people really, rational people, not hardcore MAGA, take whatever, say the 4 of us, 3 of us. If
Why is something excluded from that?
I've seen the red hat. I bought you a MAGA hat. I went to D.C. He goes, "Can you do me one favor? Can you give me a MAGA bucket hat?"
I will vote for Ron DeSantis over Donald.
All right. You're back in the circle of trust.
But here's the thing, though. DeSantis has to do that tap dance if he's going to win the Republican. If he's serious about challenging Trump, he needs.
This is on a grand scale.
He needs to not alienate Trump the way pick any one of those 17 people that ended up by the side of the road. Jeb Bush.
Little Marco Rubio.
Little Marco. We know all the nicknames. He's going to have to find a way to just say, look, I can win. I won't put us through this. I don't dislike Donald Trump, but I can, I have the policies, but I'm the guy who can effectively govern. He's got to do that.
I don't think he can. I think it has to be Trump is legitimately in legal trouble. Then he's still going to have to do that. But just as is, no indictment, Trump runs, DeSantis runs. I love DeSantis. I think DeSantis will be a historically good president. And you know what? To be a historically good president, you're going to have to knock out some giants. So maybe he does take out Trump. But I just don't think right now, straight up, if they were on the ballot tonight, I think Trump would beat him. He's not there yet.
Is DeSantis gonna, if he becomes president, is he gonna coax immigrants onto Air Force One and send them around the country to have a variety of places?
President, he could actually, as president,
he send them back.
He will have foreign policy approval, and he can send them. Yeah, he can send them right home.
And Teddy said something interesting about Trump could only serve one more term, right?
Yes.
If Trump gets in, Do you really think he'll give up the presidency at the end of his second term?
Yes.
Do you really think he will?
Why didn't he give it up the last time? You already have evidence of this. I mean, that's see. This is where we start to
kind of did have to pull him off it a little bit there.
He left on January 20th.
He was holding the railing a little bit there.
All this, he was already there. If he wasn't going to leave, he wasn't going to leave. Well, you think now he's going to? If he wins a second term, he's going to hold on for what?
So what's all the theatrics for, really? What's Trump? Do you think
because he gets under your skin? That's
no. Like, do you think it's about poning the libtards? Like, is that what you think that's all about? Or
are you allowed to say that on the
I don't
internet?
know. I can say fuck on.
Whoa! We went the whole
10 out of 3. We finally got an F-bomb.
Unbelievable.
That's all right. By the way, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no. You didn't. It's not like you're holding up a cue card or anything.
just to start.
I'm gonna start writing swears.
But like, I don't think it's just. I don't think it's just that. Like, there is. I think there's he's marketing, right? Like, he sells stuff, right? Doesn't he sell a lot of stuff? Doesn't he take in money? Don't people send him money? Like,
oh yeah, well, they send money to build the wall.
Yeah, like, I don't really know. I mean, other than just sort of like the vandalism of our institutions, I don't really understand. I don't know what he's trying to accomplish. You're right. He did give it up.
He's
right?
trying to become president. He gets one more term. He will serve one more term. Try to
finish the wall.
Try to finish whatever his policy initiatives were. He feels that last election was stolen from him. He wants another shot at it.
Right.
So regardless of what but see, this is where you guys lose your mind.
Us guys.
Because you just said it. You're
talking like this is just.
Nah, he's not wrong.
You said he's not going to. You think he's going to give? Of course he's going to give it up. He was there and he gave it up once, but suddenly now when he gets his way and wins, he's not going to give it up the next time. I mean, that's silly talk.
Yeah. I don't know. The behavior sort of. We do have behavior. It's demonstrable, right? Like did they not attack the Capitol?
Who? The ones that climbed the walls, or the ones that were like Viking Man who were let in and went to prison?
Oh, so you think there was different people there?
Well, yeah, there were a bunch of different people there.
We're going deep down the rabbit hole now. Here we go.
We can do a whole podcast.
Save that for
this. But there's
great debate.
There's an awful lot of footage that hasn't been seen of people going.
Oh, there's
like
footage
this.
that hasn't been seen.
There is.
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't know about it because they're not going to tell you about it on MSNBC. But there is.
But they will tell it on.
I've shown you footage.
Cuckoo nut.
No. Didn't one night at the Athenian Corner, did I not show you footage of the guy inside the door looking up at the camera and pointing at the door, and then suddenly the door opened? Did I not show you that footage?
So we definitely know that there are people in the Capitol Police that were not antagonistic towards being overrun. Like, I think there was actually a guy that was prosecuted for failing to do his duty. But
somebody opened the door.
One door.
Somebody unlocked the magnetic door.
You know what? You know what me and Han are thinking? This is what Trump does. This is what Trump. He can derail anything. He is a human train wreck.
DeSantis for president. All right. It appears we're not going to have much other. Do we know anything on the ballot questions?
I just have that one
from Lowell,
precinct, right?
While you guys take a look at that, the Warnock Herschel Walker race is 49 to 49.1. It's neck and neck. That's through 77%.
Yep.
Wow. Georgia.
Nobody's going to get 50%.
Where's Tim Russert when you need him? Georgia.
And that Oz-Fetterman race is also tightening up as we speak.
Which, again, these are the patterns that we've seen in 2020 in the special elections as well. And the Republican will inevitably take the lead at some point, and then it starts to swing back Democratic at some point as the late ballots come in. And again, in Pennsylvania, we're going to have ballots coming on Friday and being counted. We have a constitution. Well, we have a lawsuit already filed. So there's all sorts of stuff at play there. It is, I should point out, 10:07 p.m., which means it's 10:08 on your clock. Again, that 60-second delay thing. But we were supposed to go till 10. Guys want to stick around another 20 minutes or so?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Or are you done? Jack just got here, so he just breathed new energy.
By the way, through 78% in Georgia, they're separated by 40 votes total.
Wow. That's incredible.
So they go to a runoff.
That's a nail biter.
If nobody gets
No
above
one hits
50,
50,
yeah, they will go to a runoff. And there's the talk this actually I think I was watching Karl Rove. Was it this morning or yesterday? I forget now. It all runs together. But Karl Rove, one of the top Republican strategists, was saying he thinks that's going to a runoff. He thinks neither candidate gets 50%.
Georgia?
Walker.
Oh, for sure.
Warren.
No, I'm saying
Now,
it's going to be, and that's going to be the deciding one.
and that's what decided, if you remember, that's what decided control of the Senate. It was 50 to 48 Republicans, but they lost both of those Georgia runoffs.
Is that when Trump told everyone to stay home and not vote?
Pretty much, yeah.
We got some
Great move, by the way.
So 14% Massachusetts. This is coming from our guy, Gilly Mo Pena. Maybe you've heard the name.
We've got it.
Jeez.
Let's see. Question 1. 52% yes, 47% no.
Ooh, it's a
That's
close
what's-
one.
That's with 14% in.
So,
He is feeding me all these answers.
so,
Let's see.
so question two, that's the
two.
dental insurance
Question
is
two, dental.
7129.
People want that for sure.
So question one, very close.
Question 4.
What
This is
precinct
the
is it?
license. This is the whole state. Question 4, repeal the ballot initiative to that.
Another tight one.
52-47.
So a little bit of hope for Republicans.
There's about
in that
20,000 vote difference there. 207,000 to 188.
regard. And question 3, the alcoholic beverage one, no, 55 to 44. At least
That is different because, I mean, they called Maura Healey a minute after the polls
Right.
closed. So that is going to be
So we-
a 60%er for sure.
We may have
You're
some
a-
drama in question 1 and question 4.
Interesting.
Is,
All right.
is that the moral victory the Republicans take in Massachusetts?
what is-
Yeah, maybe. If one loses, yeah.
If one loses and they deny driver's licenses for illegals?
Do you know what question 3 is on the ballot?
That's the expanding the number of
Liquor license.
Oh, you guys actually knew it. Okay.
Yeah.
I've asked people.
Teddy's opposed to that.
I know. So, well, I believe it's the amount of liquor licenses that one entity can own. If I read that correctly, the dental one I was originally a yes on because one of my dentist buddies recommended it. But then as I read into it and I saw like basically it will give the dental insurance companies a chance to kind of pull out. And one of the more affordable options you have. Now, granted, it's not fun. You usually capped at what, $1,500, most dental plans, right?
Yeah.
And there's certain things that they absolutely won't touch, but it's better than nothing. The theory is if this question 2 passes, that dental insurance companies are going to just kind of say, yeah, that's it, we're done. And now you won't have any dental insurance. So, it won't matter whether the dentists get more or
that
whatever.
doesn't make any sense by the free market thought process, right? The people that are in the game banging it out right now, they'll screw. But the people that see an opportunity, they'll come in and they'll figure out how to make it work.
But
right?
at the expense of at the expense of the person who has the dental coverage.
I mean, it's gonna. I don't think you're gonna have people running around with their teeth rotten out. Like it'll figure itself out.
You won't?
No.
Did your dental friend say this?
You wanted numbers, right? So 1, 2 is the mother of all bellwethers. We're gonna say whatever. McGavin, 1,
that's
2
McGavin.
says they're calling the state, right? This is the game we're gonna play. So question 1, 434 yeses, 391 no.
That's closer than you'd think.
right.
Lowell.
Yeah.
Not a lot of millionaires in that neighborhood.
Again, a 5-1 Democratic thing. And I don't know how it breaks down in that particular.
How many millionaires are in that neighborhood?
Well, once Jack moved to Haverhill. A lot less.
So
White Jack.
Is there any drama up in Haverhill, by the way?
I mean, I saw these cows duking it out.
That's Bradford. That's not Haverhill.
No,
Get right.
no.
Come on, you newbie.
You literally go buy cows to get to my house. So question 2 was 553 to 222. 553 yes to 222 no. And then question 3 was 329 yes to 479 no. And you'll like this one. Question 4 is 376 yes to 398 no.
Wow. That's low.
Oh, so there may be some hope for the, again, who knows what percentage of Boston is counted in those results we have, but there may be some hope for the question 1 and question 4 no voters.
How strange would that be if inner cities voted no and like the wealthy suburbs vote yes? It's interesting.
Interesting election night.
Yeah, no doubt.
No doubt indeed. Jack Mitchell joining us here. Let me go to the wide shot here. There we go. Far left. Ace of Stutz. I'm Hans Stutt.
How dare you?
Jack Mitchell, Ace of Stutz, part of the Inside Lowell election team. I am your host, Teddy Panos. Want to thank you for joining us. If you're watching us live, thank you for being here. I hope you've been here for most of the night. We did have some great results early on in the Rodney Elliott, Carla Miller race. Trying to get you, before we sign off here, we'll get you a little more information in the ballot questions if we can, and maybe try to get some concrete numbers in the Lori Trahan Dean Tran race in the 3rd congressional district. We did get a report that out on Twitter from Cameron Mooresberger of the Lowell Sun saying that Lori Trahan has said she won all of Dean Tran's home areas in Fitchburg, so that certainly bodes well for her. Not that any of us are surprised by that, right?
You want a big call?
Let's go. Let's hear it. Come on. Been waiting for a big call all night.
Pennsylvania governor race. Democrat Josh Shapiro is projected to win.
And that was a win for the Democrats, right? A gain? Or
This Doug Mastriano was the other MAGA hardcore
Correct.
going for governor. So
but wasn't the former governor a Republican?
I don't remember. I don't know.
That
I just
could
know
be
that was supposed to be, if it was going to be a red wave, Mastriano would have gotten in.
But that
They're
bodes,
calling that early.
that bodes well for
That bodes great for Fetterman.
Fetterman, yes.
Great for Fetterman. Sorry, bad for Hahn.
We're just
Bite your
trying to-
tongue.
Trying to see if there's any. Yeah, Hans got money on this. Trying to see if there's any other projections here.
That's only with 43% in too. Like that seems like an early call.
Yeah, they look at the districts and they have.
Oh yeah, no, I understand. I'm just saying.
There's a
From what we thought this morning going into this, like
Right.
that was gonna be a late night, multiple days in Pennsylvania. Fetterman's very much alive in that one. Interesting.
All right. We do have I'm getting a report that there is an issue with the Pawtucketville Memorial School with whatever the counting or whatnot. So that's why we don't have those numbers at the moment. So
What do you think? Come back at like 10 tomorrow morning? We'll have him.
we will be live. That's what I was in the process of saying before I get distracted. I get easily distracted. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Asa Stutz and I will be back here with a live recap. Hopefully we'll have a little more information on all of the local results here in Lowell, surrounding communities, Massachusetts. We'll see what the nationwide trends show us, although we may not have any definitive answers yet. Welcome to Elections 21st Century Style, joined by Asa Stutz, Jack Mitchell, Hans Stutz. I did the right to left thing over there.
It's too bad we don't have more local races because we're good at it. We get the instant results, but
The drama is the vote, and unfortunately, because it's all write-in drama, we're probably not going to know anything. I'm checking my email here. Nothing's from the city of Lowell yet.
So for those who don't know, how did this happen that everyone is a writing candidate? For those who don't know.
You want this one, Jack? we did it on our last podcast. As
The short version.
I think that the cockamamie scheme of one man, one vote, where
Oh, boy.
that screwed things up because people, why would I want to run in Dunstable
And win in Lowell.
and
We get to get votes in Lowell.
have Lowell pick who represents Dunstable,
Right.
right?
That is a dumb idea. It just is. I mean, Lowell's decides everything.
Right, that's right.
But wasn't there a way to do the one man, one vote thing and give Lowell greater representation without bringing Lowell's electorate into Dunstable, which would we determine has like 3,000 people in the whole
So the thing,
cow barn?
the bottom line is this: I was super focused on charter change, and so like I just totally like spaced out on this whole cockamamie thing.
This one snuck by you?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it coming, and I griped about it within the circles that I could gripe about it, but nobody cares necessarily. Once the machine decides that they want to have an outcome, sometimes it's hard to change it. And I was more focused on changing the charter stuff.
All right. Well,
So,
good job with that.
I mean, I didn't do it by myself. There was a lot of folks that were, but you know, it
Oh, yeah.
got a
People
little.
worked hard. They did good. It actually worked out well. I think it's worked out better than I thought it would. I think Teddy would agree too.
I'm just looking at. So we're getting some feedback on the inside little page.
No.
I need more. I assume this is a typo. I think ADA, but I think that's ASA. I need more ASA and less this guy talking in capital letters.
That could be on. That could be on.
Is it Jack Mitchell, the guy in the middle, or the guy over there by the whiteboard?
So I know we're just about wrapping up.
Hold on, let me go get some oatmeal. Help you guys out.
We did have another comment on the Inside Lowell Facebook page. Where's the red wave in New Hampshire? That was the hope for the Republicans, that it would get there, and I thought there was an outside chance that Bolduc beats Hassan, but at least in the
not
early
over
numbers.
yet, but
I've been tightening up. by the way.
Right, it keeps.
the Hassan people don't seem all that nervous.
like
They're
52,
cautiously
46.
optimistic.
But again, it's 10 o'clock to 10:15, beyond 10:15, and they haven't called a race for an incumbent senator. By this point, Maggie Hassan and Jean Shaheen have won their New Hampshire races.
New
They've been
Hampshire
called
is filled
traditionally.
with Charlie Baker Republicans. Like, if that's a Scott Brown, Charlie Baker kind of place, right?
Before COVID, but yes, we get your point.
So I just don't really see, you know, there other than the Free Staters, I don't see who Bulldog appeals to.
Well, it's
And literally half the
It's
people. I mean,
the-
it's 50-50 toss-up state.
it's the economy, the Biden effect, and whatnot, and the pushback, which I'm assuming you're going to see in many other states where, I mean, they're in best case scenario for the Democrats is the Republicans only pick up 20 seats, right? Is that kind of the
New
projection?
Hampshire is very resilient, right? Like, this is effectively a bunch of wealthy white people. What is how do you think their economy is?
It's just like everyone else.
Are they going to buy heads of lettuce? Have you gone shopping lately?
I buy my lettuce in a little plastic box,
also-
and it's all sort of
There's
like.
a lot of poor white people in New Hampshire
know.
too.
Yeah, what's the price
really?
tag?
Yeah, you go to Franklin,
Inflation's
you go to
hurting
Felton,
everybody.
You go to
Did they
Andover.
vote?
Yes. Donald Trump. You ever heard the name?
When I go to my
Hey,
house,
I once drove through Andover, New Hampshire. This is 2016.
Yeah.
It's a place that most people don't even know exists.
Yeah.
Driving from Franklin, which is super poor, all white,
Right.
Tilton, super poor white, into Andover. It gets a little wealthier, but still rural.
yeah.
And that's when I realized, I'm like, Trump might win. 20 straight Trump signs. Like, whoa, this
There's
is,
more Trump
this is
signs than
real.
there are Trump voters, right? Like, because they're so passionate about it.
So here's something interesting. Fox News predicted Maura Healey at like literally 8:01. I think we got that text
Yes.
from the Cali Lama. CNN just projected it 1 minute ago.
CNN's slacking.
Democrat
had some staff
Maura
cuts.
Healey will win the Massachusetts governor's race, defeating Jeff Deal. She will be this country's first out lesbian governor and the first woman elected governor in Massachusetts. We mentioned first woman governor. I didn't realize the first admittedly lesbian governor.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know. I assumed there was one. Maybe. I assumed there was somebody who would come out in other states, right? But so congratulations to the folks who that's important to. Interesting though that CNN didn't just project it until now. Tells me that maybe the result
The others are closer?
little closer than the tip. What we were kind of speculating.
Well, when they made that call, it was something like 56-42 with 9% in, which is an interesting. I mean, I don't think they'll be wrong, but that kind of data doesn't seem to be like a landslide.
And we've seen 55-45 races get called early too. You get it, just Jack, as you said, you get certain key precincts, districts, what's happening.
Yeah.
But what if that governor's race is close enough for CNN to wait till 10:21? Maybe they just fell asleep, or maybe that's a harbinger of what's going to happen in question 1 and 4, and that's why those are so close.
So observationally, I'm just curious about this. As we were talking about the mail-in ballots, it seems like all of these races opened up with Democrats with pretty big leads, and they've been just consistently shrinking as the night's been going on. So I'm curious if the mail-in ballots got counted quickly and early.
This tricked me last time.
This is
so I'm gonna
interesting.
fall for this one again.
No, I'm just curious.
It seems
about
like
I'd
it.
like to know.
Absolutely seems like it. But here you go. Red tsunami not happening. Like, it's over when. I'm not saying it wasn't going to happen when Shapiro won the governorship. Michael Bennett is going to reclaim his seat in Colorado, senator. He was the red tsunami. The red wave, I guess, is still technically alive, but
he was the bloodbath.
he was
Barrett
right. He
lost
was
Colorado.
worst
That's
case.
a bloodbath.
Same thing with Shapiro losing. So that and Mastriano winning. The fact that those didn't happen, you could take the tsunami just off the board. Red wave is still possible. Senate still possible. It's going to come down to Georgia, and it's the way it's going to be.
So are we looking at the House or the Senate or in government, like in general, like because it's common. I mean, it's common for the House to change over. There's
In midterms, yep.
There's only been 4 years where it hasn't, right?
And there's only a 5-seat. Republicans have 213. You need 218 for a majority. It's almost a foregone conclusion that they were going to win the House.
Right.
The Senate is where the drama is, and whether that the Democrats retain their 50-50.
Right.
Which I think is the best case scenario, right? If I'm not mistaken, it stays 50-50.
50-50 is a great,
The vice
great
president
night for the
gets
Democrats.
the break. Some folks have said maybe as much as 53-54 for the Republicans. I think I said 53 earlier.
Yes, we got there different
We
ways.
need to see
but
Nevada. We need to see Arizona. Those apparently have gone Republican in the polling, but who knows? Maybe once they start actually.
a strange
counting.
thing to what you guys were just saying is that this big night for the Republicans, they were going to take about 30 House seats, swapping them. That's like average for midterm. Like the average is between like 30 and 60.
Yeah,
So it was just like, oh yeah, they're going to win the House because it's always tight, but it didn't seem crazy. It just like Trump was going to get annihilated. I think he lost about 30 seats in his midterm,
I think
and it was kind of average.
I think he was closer to 40, but did hold the Senate. The Obama
one was a disaster, I think. Wasn't there a 60?
63?
yeah.
Yeah, it was a big
63
change,
House
yeah.
seats. That was
yeah,
the
but it's just,
Obama.
it was, I don't know, underreport is the wrong word, but the fact that
Yeah.
they were going to flip 30 seats and it was this disaster of epic proportions, it's like,
Yeah.
kind of normal.
And Biden's approval ratings are actually probably significantly lower than both Obama and Trump. I think it's somewhere in the 4 to 6% range, where Biden is worse. So if you use that as a projection versus past results with changes in the House, you would expect between 40 and 60 seats to swap. We'll see. It doesn't look like
What's
that's going to
interesting,
happen.
I think, is like pre-election. There's a lot of hype, right? Because you're trying to establish sort of a mindset and build. Because sometimes voters are persuadable by they'll go to who they think the winners are, right? So if it gets hyped up, but then you've got to backpedal sort of that expectations game.
Sure.
Once the election results. And folks will start to sound like they've been saying it the whole time.
We're going to go home. If you turn on Fox News right now, it's going to be, it's not a full, Ty Law backpedal, but it's going to be a little slow one.
Did get a word from Tommy Duggan from the Valley Patriot that Adrienne Ramos has held on in that North Andover Boxford rep race. Duggan thought that Joel Finn, the Republican challenger, had an outside shot of being the only Republican to flip a seat in Massachusetts.
What about Feingold?
That did not happen.
Feingold and that guy Sal DeFranco, the Navy SEAL, if you hadn't heard.
I hadn't seen anything on that, but
Say that with such a...
were Democrats worried that Feingold might
That's
lose
all that he
that?
says. As a veteran, sometimes I get a little aggy when I hear veterans that the only word out of their mouth is "I'm a veteran."
Were
Like,
Democrats, there was any thought in Democratic circles that Feingold might be in jeopardy? I can't see it, but I don't know.
I don't really talk. I mean, you might be surprised. You're the one with friends like Deep Dem or whatever it is,
Deep
right?
Donkey.
Like Deep Donkey. Yeah.
Do you still have those friends, or did you lose them at the radio station?
No,
they came with you?
My people,
Package deal?
You came with me, didn't you? My
Like a
people-
stray dog, though. You throw some Greek salad from the Athenian at me, and I keep coming back.
Wait,
Thank you.
we picked up some new stray dogs.
You're gonna junkyard dog now.
Where was Deep?
I'm a pioneer, now I'm a junkyard dog. I don't get what's up?
All right, let's see if we can find out anything. They did just close the polls in Nevada, so they're calling it a toss-up, too close to call in that Senate race. That was one of the ones Republicans thought they would be able to take in some kind of red wave, and that would probably, if they win even just one of those, Arizona or Nevada, they're probably in pretty good shape. Although the Democrats could theoretically flip Pennsylvania. That was, even though Pennsylvania is thought of as a Democratic state. That was a Republican Senate seat, right? Senator Toomey.
Yeah,
I get the name right.
There's certain races like the Lee Zeldin New York one. I can't find anything on it.
Zeldin's at 35%,
Percent?
but it's still low turnout. Yeah, 60 something to 35.
Why did we get so slow at counting ballots?
I don't know. I hate this.
Somebody needs to explain this phenomenon.
We used to be
me,
done
Jack, do
by
you-
10.
Why does it take so long to have a computer print out a piece of paper?
I'm gonna try
This
hold
is
on.
complicated. Yeah, like one thing, we don't build bridges with each state having their own standard of how to build a bridge. There's a federal standard on how to build a bridge. I do not know why we allow states to kind of finagle their own stuff, right? There should be, everybody should use.
Careful when
know-
you go there, because the states that are very slow in reporting tend to be.
Well,
Democratically
the
controlled
states that don't
states.
use paper ballots, you just have like electronic punch pad stuff, right? So like I just, whatever the outcome is, there should be a standard election process. Now, in terms of, I don't think we should expect drive-through window convenience, especially since margins have gotten tighter and tighter. Maybe it's because there used to be such a wide margin in election swings.
I'm not talking about the projections, and I understand that there's more mail-in ballots, late arrivals.
Yeah.
I'm talking about actually counting the votes on election night. Ronald Reagan was declared president in 1984 by this time. Barack Obama in 2008 was declared president by this time.
Right, yeah, 11 o'clock. Once 11
when the
o'clock hit, it was
polls
over.
closed,
Yeah.
They spit out the results just like they did in Lowell, and they're put on windows. It should be faster, not slower, to report results. Now, making projections, I get it. The world has changed. They projected Reagan, and it affected Senate races, we're told, before some polls had closed in Western states. I get all that. The races are tighter, so we're not going to be as bold in making projections. I get that. I'm talking about, give me numbers. It's 10:30. Give me numbers on what has actually been counted.
Why do you need them? What do you got to know for? Is it kinda
Because this is the problem with why people don't trust elections, which is your
No.
side as well as others, Jack.
No.
The computers do not get slower. Computers get faster. This is not IBM Big Blue needing an entire building with air conditioning to keep. This is a computer. These things tabulate. These numbers should be known. Whether you're going to make a projection, whether the races are closer, 100%. We shouldn't have 16, 20, 25% of the votes cast 3 hours
If
into
you
counting.
bring a big pile of boxes of receipts and tax stuff to your tax account, and you throw all that stuff on his desk, and 10 minutes later he comes out and says, okay, your taxes are done. That'll be $3,000. Thank you. Are you going to be okay with that? Or are you going to be like, hey, shouldn't you be taking more time to figure it out?
We do. We from 7 a.m. till 8 p.m.
Yeah.
We put pieces of paper into a machine. That machine instantly tabulates the votes.
It does.
Tells you how many people have voted, instantly tabulates who they voted for in the internals, and at 8:15,
So-
as you witnessed at the McAvenue School,
Yep.
they spit out those results.
So this is what I saw. The if a voter filled in the oval, right, the ballot went to one side so that it's physically segregated, right? But a lot of times they don't fill in the oval. They write in the name, but they don't fill in the oval. They fill in the name, but not the oval. So it goes in with the big batch, right? It's basically what I saw, and this is simplifying it, is the amount of variables that are in the voting are the amount of voters. And if you think that they're all like clones going in to vote, you can't imagine.
That hasn't changed, though. It's been the same forever.
It's been that way. Okay.
People, I mean, if someone's going to screw it up, someone screwed it up 5 and 10 and 30 years ago, right?
We don't have hanging chads anymore.
Well, maybe after Florida, things have kind of changed because people are very attuned to it, right? Like we have I mean, you hear stories about, you can read them, you can Google them or whatever. There's elections officials that are scared to do the job because they don't want to be.
I would be too. I mean, really, at this point, it's just.
What are we scared to do? What?
Thankless.
Press the tabulate button. You watched it happen.
Yeah, and then so you're sort of being glib about like it's just a simple way of doing things, and I don't think it is that. It's not that simple.
It's very simple in terms of spitting out results.
So there was a result that came out, but like I did kind of videotape like all the Great Lowell Technical High School stuff that's all hand counted stuff.
That would throw that in a separate category. That's insanity.
Right. But otherwise, we have results.
Oh, sorry, got to cut you boys off. I got a big one.
What do you got?
Maggie Hassan wins re-election, New Hampshire.
They called it.
Already calling it.
Really? With half the vote in?
Yep.
They're good at these projections.
While you guys were talking there's a reporter that's really good, Adam Sexton, MUR. Maybe you've heard of Teddy. He's a good political reporter. He's just putting raw information out there, like the town of Madison, and I'm reading it all. Just Hassan's doing great. Hassan's doing amazing, and that's without the big cities that she's going to do well and crush it in Nashua and Manchester. So, kind of saw that one coming, but not this early. This
55 to 43. They're 46% in.
But again, she's leading without Manchester or without Nashua. It's over.
But again, statistics will tell you they know where the vote came from, what's outstanding.
Yeah,
You can
Portsmouth and Exeter are super liberal.
I've very rarely seen a projection on an election night that went wrong.
New Hampshire's a different animal because of the presidential primary. They're very attuned voters, right? So Bulldog, in order to get through the primary, he kind of came out with some, Trump Republican red meat. And some of the stuff that came out of his mouth, he had to try to reel back and pivot on
quickly.
To try to run in
the next day.
Election, right?
The next day.
The thing is that, New Hampshire voters, I don't think they're going to forget between September and November.
No.
And the New Hampshire Democrats are very good at reminding the unenrolled, like the independent, sort of less party-minded people, the centrists, of what was said during a primary. So Bulldog got beat up pretty much with his own words. And so I think that's what hurt him.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to replace all you guys as election night insiders with Guillermo Pena.
He's great.
Because he's far. By the way, of course, he's doing this from the comfut of his on couch. Probably.
Oh yeah, he's got multiple TVs. He's got the Cemetery Commission going on.
So here you go, State Senate. You mentioned Barry Feingold, with 26% of the votes counted. Feingold 55.1, Salvatore DeFranco 44.9. So 55-45, close enough that again, if these numbers hold, and again, that's only a fourth of the votes counted, but that's a pretty good result for Republicans. Again, maybe for those holding out hope that the ballot questions will go the Republican way. We also have the ballot measure, question 4, with 13% of the vote counted, 52.4 to 47.6.
That was previous.
Okay. We do have Georgia update. 86% of the votes counted in Georgia.
86%.
So, again, 86%.
All right, hold on.
Georgia.
Will someone be over 50%?
A Republican state, which is
Walker's 49.7.
49.35. Walker's what I have. Raphael Warnock, the incumbent, 48.72. Chase Oliver, 1.93. That just below 2%.
That's
could be what puts us into a runoff. Now,
Chase Oliver is going to cost the Democrat and the Republican Party, both of them, about
hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, just for some dopey Chase Oliver guys on the ballot.
So he is a
or a
libertarian.
woman. I don't know who Chase Oliver is.
Libertarian.
Okay.
I think that vote might go Republican in a runoff. But Walker, 49.35, 86%. He may not get to that 50.
And this is close. There's no take 54 off the board, take 53 off the board. I mean, maybe, but this is looking like.
So Republicans can get to 53 with Walker winning.
Right.
Walker, they take Nevada and they take Arizona.
Ask them right now, at this moment in time, will you be happy with 51? And forget about the fact that they won just this night. this morning they would have said no. That's not a great. They won control, which is the ultimate goal. But I think now they would be very happy with that. It's just do you see the red wave in these results?
Well, I don't know what's going on in Congress. Again, so you got to remember.
I don't think so.
How many seats are there? Were there 33 or 34?
If Republicans barely win, that's not a red wave. It's a midterm.
If they control both bodies,
For sure.
That's the end of the Biden presidency. And there were, I believe, of the 30, there's always 33, 33, and then 34 Senate seats up for grabs.
I'm saying that clumsily, but I'm saying
21 of those
when the day
Republican
started
seats this time.
I know they want to just win and get 51 and be done with it, but they expected a much bigger night than they're having.
They were defending a lot more term. 2 weeks ago, this was a 50-50. This was a toss-up.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
Then we saw this morning 53 or 54.
This morning, Republicans were feeling great.
About 53.
Did you see what the New York Times put out? 5 best ways to deal with election stress. Like they were massaging their readers. Like they told you to do this with your hands. Jack, I'm not joking.
I like.
They want you to do your hands like this.
You, not so much. You, I'm liking you. You got some pizzazz.
Thanksgiving, what do you think?
got some pizzazz, kid.
Get him out, Jack's name. All right, we gotta get out of here soon, right?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Asa Stutz has to get back to Nashua. All right, so let's just kind of recap what we know as we say goodbye, because my hunch is we could probably be here till Friday and still may not know about certain races. But the race everybody in Lowell is watching more closely than all of them. 16th Middlesex District, Rodney Elliott. We kind of projected him as the winner. The last vote totals we had, he's at about 4,600 votes. Carla Miller at about 2,400. There's still some problem with Pawtucketville school reporting, but at this point,
It's gonna go over 65.
Well, let's go back to our whiteboard camera there. There you see the projection.
Teddy's gonna get a victory here. Yeah.
I've got 65.
It might end,
35.
it's gonna end at like 68.
Which is the usual number, 68 to
Yeah.
32. But, we got Asa pretty close at, 62-38. Han, the guy on the...
Actually, I surrendered a long time.
You know what? We didn't even ask him. Did you think,
42.
was that Rodney with 58 or were you going the other way on that one? No.
Don't embarrass the guy. We already humiliated him enough.
He made him a 4 hours.
He didn't even go to the bathroom, for the love of God. He was here pretty much the entire time. So Rodney Elliott wins. Congratulations to Rodney Elliott. Congratulations to Carla Miller, first-time candidate running a campaign. I don't think we've heard the last of her in some way, shape, or form out there. But Rodney Elliott will replace Tom Golden, becoming Lowell's third member of the delegation. He will join Ratty Mom and Vanna Howard. I pronounced that right this time. Vanna Howard, representing Massachusetts, along with Senator Ed Kennedy on Beacon Hill. The ballot initiatives, too close to call on 1 and 4. Looks like 2 is going to be a yes. It's going to do something to your dental insurance. What? Who knows? We'll have to wait till they...
2 is kind of like the Third Amendment. Like no one knows what it actually is.
The liquor license one's still too close to call. Maura Healey called as the first female governor elected in Massachusetts. Also, we found out the first openly lesbian governor throughout the United States of America. The interesting part is Fox News called that at like 8:01. CNN didn't call it till after 10 o'clock. So what is that margin? And does that kind of show you where we are with the ballot questions? We haven't seen any real concrete numbers in the Lori Trahan race in the 3rd district.
It's 1040. Like we should have way more.
Again,
numbers.
this is
those
my
ballots should be called by now.
Did you talk to
my
the
point.
elections office? Do you know if they're going to wait until they get all the write-ins before they report?
Yes, they have to. Well, because they can't report anything until they send that email out. Let me check my email to
like
see.
the Trahan campaign, they've sent folks out they've gone into their bellwethers.
Correct. They went into Pittsburgh and saw that
We can go down to the old court right now and find out whether or not.
Is there a party down there?
Is that the Trahan party? Should we crash it?
Can you guys?
No, they know everything down there.
Oh, they do.
Oh, you're talking about
You think Tanya at the Athenian Corner knows?
Yeah.
Are we
We're
going
going to
to
read
the-
election results from Batch at the bar stool, just making things up.
Are we going to the old court or to the? Or are we going to the
Warp.
with the Long Meadow?
Oh. We gotta go. Come on.
not going. I might go to the China Star.
All right. We also still a little bit of suspense, but probably not really in the state auditor race. Diana DeZoglio leading by 16 points over Anthony Amori, with less than 20% of the vote being reported, at least from what we have seen. We'll see how that plays out. Tomorrow morning, Asa Stutz and I will be here at 10 a.m. We're going to go live again, I think, if I can figure this thing out.
Excellent.
At the very least, we'll record one and put it up shortly thereafter.
Sounds good.
All right. So Asa and Han, the Stutz brothers, thank you guys for being here the entire time.
Have a good night.
Yes, actually
thanks.
Went by pretty quick.
Jack, my Pod Squad member, thank you for being out on location and giving us a little flavor of how that hand count of the write-in vote is going. Democracy is boring, Jack.
Just him staring at the ballots.
I want to know why we can't get computer printouts much quicker to get reported. That's my only question. We're regressing.
When you're thinking about that, just picture Jack staring at some poor old woman trying to count a ballot. Just
Making her nervous.
Is that a smudge or a
not what happened.
By the way, did you pull when they said like, "Who are you? Why are you hanging around after?"
Nobody,
closing
everybody
hours?
everybody was very welcoming.
Do they know you out there?
So there was a couple of people that knew me personally, right? So yeah, no, everything went well.
When you introduce yourself, do you introduce yourself now as the Lowell Live Feed Forum or Inside Lowell?
I didn't even have to get into that. I don't try to claim myself as a media.
He's like Omar the Wire.
personality.
Sometimes your reputation's enough, dog.
So I went and
It's a good wire reference.
I'm sorry, Han. It's probably a mistake.
Yeah.
But if I only have one life preserver, I know I'm gonna go with personality.
So we know who won the election of most popular Stutz brother, Jack Mitchell. That is Asa over high.
He's holding the live lead for him against.
But thank you.
You're probably a better breadwinner, but like I don't know, like this, he makes me laugh.
All right. Well, thank you to all three of you. Really appreciate you coming on in and being part of our election coverage. Asa, thank you for debuting the whiteboard here. Absolutely love it.
Look at it. It looks sad.
Yeah, because you took your map of the Ukraine.
I didn't realize how important. Next year will be much better.
Plus, we need to put the sponsor logo right in that little white spot there to the left
Yeah,
of
the
the.
penmanship could be better too.
Yeah, your penmanship needs some work. But
I
nobody.
know. I didn't understand the impact of all this. I didn't know Jeff Thomas was going to be telling me to change the colors of the marker. So
Nobody
next
criticized
year,
Tim Russert for the way he wrote Florida back in 2000. So
He just got there and made magic.
all of you, if anyone was with us the entire time, thank you. I'm going to go look at the Google Analytics afterwards.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us tonight. Go to InsideLowell.com. We will have more on the election for you. We'll have some analysis, tell you what it all means. I should probably go to my camera if I'm going to be looking and talking to the camera. Thank you for being with us. InsideLowell.com. That is the website. See all the writing, see all the podcasts, follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and yes, our YouTube channel. We'll have the entire, 3-hour, 45-minute tape of this show. Not a single commercial break. You guys rock. Have a great night, everybody. Stay safe out there.